in my opinion, looks like a pork chop for the track map. So good evening, good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to JP Broadcasting and into the J2iCS GTP Endurance Series for round 4 of season 10 for the Crown Jewel event here at Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta. I'm your commentator, Hamish, Munro, joined once again by Jim Cunningham alongside Jim. I know we're both big boys, and coming to a circuit that looks like a pork chop is going to be an interesting experience for these drivers who get to experience a fifth of the Petit Le Mans experience by doing a double stint here at Michelin Raceway. But it's going to be a good night of racing, and I'm looking forward to seeing how these drivers can contest in the wet here at Road Atlanta.
Yeah, well, we covered one wet race earlier in the year.
Don't talk about that one, Jim, because then we deal with issues. That one is lost to the ender. Like it's gone.
So
it never happened.
Well, anyway, I'm glad to be here with you. And to me, that looks like a big tomahawk steak as opposed to a pork
does
chop.
look like that too.
But no, it's good to be here. Of course, I love Road Atlanta. Quick story here while we got a minute left. This summer we took a little college road trip with my son, and we stopped at a couple of racetracks along the way visiting colleges, and we came by, and Road Atlanta was one that we picked to stop at. And growing up, every video game I ever played, Road Atlanta was one of the tracks. It's just been, to me, the probably premier road course circuit in the United States, especially in its heyday. And the Petit Le Mans is a great series. It's a great event. It's still, to me, one of the premier endurance races in the United States. I love this track. I'm very excited to be here for this little, like you said, miniature version of that in the rain.
Yeah, it's a circuit that definitely throws out its tests. And you mentioned, you name any racing title, this track's been on there.
Absolutely,
it's one that is on just about anything. And the amount of racing series that have run here in the past is quite a few. From IMSA, of course, with Petit Le Mans, from Pilot Challenge to even Formula Drift coming here as well for running Formula Drift in the final sector of this circuit. So it's one that'll offer up tests for these drivers tonight. We'll be able to run through quite a lot of things, obviously, being that it is a 2-hour race. So I hope you guys are ready for the Jim and Hamish podcast on this race tonight, because we're going to be able to talk about a lot of things, Jim, whilst the racing's happening, obviously, and drivers are trying to get through their stints and trying to get through their strategy as well of how best they can test this track. And as I said, it's a testing circuit. It's one that I've run many a laps at. I've had many a highs and many a lows here as well. And it's one that can throw out a heap of tests. And I think the major tests around this place are just some of those fast-paced corners. You think of turn 5, getting caught at the exit on the curb, throwing yourself around into the wall. You think of the run down through 10A and 10B into that Formula Drift section, and even the run through the final corner. This circuit has got a lot of tests to it. It feels bigger than what it is. It's a relatively short circuit, but it feels bigger than what it actually is. But I think it's one that you come here and you just get phenomenal racing all throughout. It is one that can test you. It's one that can throw challenges at you, but it's one that also throws out some magnificent racing as well. So the starting grid, though, for tonight's race will be as follows. Bozak will start pole position alongside Squilliam on the front row. Simply Steve Eat My Dust will start on the second row for an all-Ferrari second row on the grid. Beaver, the championship leader, he'll start P5 ahead of Captain CK on that third row of the grid, with Gavin Amerman and Nicolator for your top 8. Springflower and Biker Pilot will then make up the top 10, with Nodovan Urko on the 6th row, with Troy Banks and Teagish for your top 14. G-Spot and Ryan Schwab will be the top 16, with Jason Wiwanaki and DC making up the 18-car grid this evening. And Jim, are we going to finish with 18 cars at Road Atlanta? I highly doubt it.
I'm guessing.
Just based on the fact, not even just because of the rain, this track will claim drivers. It is one that the simplest of mistakes lead to catastrophic failure. Turn 1, are we going to see drivers try and go too wide? You'd hope not, because it's not a corner that you necessarily want to go too wide through. the run up towards turn 3 at the top of the hill, as you then make your way back down again, and you're kind of dancing the car down through the S's. There's going to be some tests and there's going to be some overlap, and we're probably going to get some crashes, especially if it begins to rain again in the race.
Indeed.
But I'm excited, Jim. I'm excited. The rain is coming. I'm looking at the radar now myself. There is more rain coming. So
well,
for the drivers, they're going to get a period of time where it is 100% precipitation. This track is going to flood, and they're going to have their flippers on and their dancing shoes, because these cars are going to want to tiptoe all around the of challenges to drivers as well. So I'm excited for that. I just quickly as well want to thank Ewan O'Leary for covering for me last week for the sprint series as well. I had an appointment that was made for me that I could not make. It was made for me. I could not get out of, so I had to go commit to that, unfortunately. So I missed out on the sprint series last week. So thank you very much, Ewan, for coming in late notice. Really, really appreciate it. But I'm excited for tonight, Jim, because I love GTPs. I love sports car racing. I know that you love sports car racing, and we both love Road Atlanta. So let's get it on. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, this is going to be good. And I'm getting to where I love these guys. We've done this now for several weeks together. I joined a couple of races in, but not that many. This is a cool group of guys. They're fun. Yeah. They're fun to talk to after the race. When we had that rebroadcast that didn't go so well, those guys all got together for a watch party. And then we just absolutely broke their dreams by having it not work for either of us. So. I don't know what my problem was.
I was disappointed, Jim, because you were finally going to get the replay broadcast experience, having all the drivers in the chat, being able to talk trash in the chat to us whilst we're calling the race that happened. It's a different experience, but it's a wonderful one. But that's okay. We get our wet race experience tonight, and as they approach the line to start lap 1, of course, we'll be able to track the time with the session state. You'll be able to see how much time is left in the race. Of course, 2 hours though, Jim, at Road Atlanta, that's a tough task. There's not much breathing room around here. You really only get the break down the back straight from turn 8 down towards 10A and 10B. That's the only real break you get around here. Everywhere else, you're pretty much on the limit for the whole lap.
And it's some tough on the limit corners here. Like you talked about 3 that going uphill, and then that quick chicane at the top of the hill where your car unloads like that. That's a really tough corner. And then down at the bottom, that little S area right there, I guess that's turn 5 or turn 6. Yep. That's a nasty corner because you got to take it at such a high rate of speed, and it's extremely rough. There's some tough corners here, really tough.
Yeah, even through 10A and 10B, where the drivers are coming through now on the opening warm-up lap as they run up towards the line now to get us going. Even the last corner, Jim, is one that tests drivers as well. If you did you see that? Squilliam's already gone round in the rain.
Oh my goodness.
So race has started and Squilliam has gone around.
Oh, and he towed too.
I need to change what I have on my data, because I want to see if he started on dries, because I have a feeling he did. I'm going to find out though right now, so I'm going to do some
investigation. Yeah. Oh man, so we got Bozak out here. Of course,
they're all on dries.
Everyone in the field is on dries.
Everyone is on dries. Okay. Wow. So everyone, I guess you could say everyone's taking the gamble, but also no one's taking the gamble because they're all on dries, and maybe they feel it isn't wet enough for wets at the moment. But I think that last sector is so wet that they almost need the wet tires just for the final sector.
Wow. These cars are already a nightmare on these new tires. Cold new tires are absolutely brutal. If you have
going, he hasn't towed. He's kept going, but
I see him back there now. I was gonna wait to see if anything happened up here. I was gonna pop back in. Oh, he's moving. Oh, he's moving up quick though.
Yeah, he's got some pace, so he's got the temp into those tires, and now he'll try and scream his way through the field as well.
Well, he'll be fun
I'm
to
sure if
watch
you're
coming up
watching,
through the field.
it will, and it's going to be a tough test for him as well, because this track is not easy to pass at. You have all of about 3 passing opportunities, maybe even only 2, which is turn 7 and then turn 10A. If you can get the run down them off the final corner, you can get a move into turn 1, but it's a bit eerie. I will say that it's a bit eerie trying to go for it there. So careful in the grass.
Can't get offline like that with those tires right now.
No. Oh, you see that as well. I think that was DC off the road in the background too.
I believe it was
in that Fez. So
yeah,
it's a tough test.
Man, I tell you what, I don't envy him at all. That's a tough. Well, he's got 2 hours though, and he's fast. So
yeah, he's got 2 hours. If the strategy plays into his hands, he can make up the time. There's plenty of time for him to make up. I mean, we're only 2 minutes in. As Captain CK further back though has now gone round as well, Jim, at the pit entry. So there's another spot for Squilliam. So that's the one thing too. That's the one factor for these drivers is the natural digression of the drivers in the field as they make mistakes. If he can keep himself clean and make sure that his only incident was that lap 1 incident, then he can make up spots. As I've noticed as well, Troy Banks has also had to jump to pit, so he's also had an off track too, Jim, that we'll check out in just a moment.
Yep.
But yeah, just a weird one. Did he catch the puddle or something?
I don't know. It was like when it popped in on him, he was already spinning.
Yeah. So unless we can find an overtake that he's made.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for now. Just let's see. Here, I'll put you back on up front here, and I'll keep looking for a split second and see.
Let's go back to live, Jim, so then we can sit with them whilst we're live.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and
have a bit of a search.
Let's see. Let's look at what happened to Tony Banks real quick.
Yeah. So what's happened to him?
Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
Oh, he hit hard, too.
Oh, my God.
Man, I tell you what, based on what – oh, there's another one. Based on what I'm seeing, I don't know that dry tires were the right choice here.
I think that only a part of the circuit is dry. I think it's really only from turn 5 down through turn 8. That's the only dry part of the track, and then as they exit, that's when it's wet again. And it's really, really wet down towards the final sector at that Formula D section where you run through 10A, 10B, and then up underneath the Fox Bridge. This is probably the wettest part of the track at the moment, compounded with the first sector too. So it looks almost like half the track is wet. So literally the Michelin building side, the pit side of the circuit is wet, and then you get more out towards the outer side of the track, down towards, we'll call it the bone of the Tomahawk, Jim. That's where it's dry. So you've
that's
then
what
got
I'm
to decide,
talking about.
yeah, you know, the first and final sector, very wet still. The middle sector, dry. So I think from compounding on that point, if you can keep this car under control in the wet on the dries, then you're okay. But the problem is, like down here at the pits, it is so wet that you're almost having to tiptoe it through this section of circuit. Like it almost seems like an impossibility to keep this thing on the track in that first and final sector.
It really does, doesn't it? It's, oh man, see, and he's driving so aggressive.
Yeah.
With those tires on, man, well, he did not go into the pits. We did confirm that, right? He did not pit.
No, he stayed out. He has stayed out. So
okay. So
he's just trying to move forward. I think if he can naturally move his way forward, which he has to push because he has to gain 24 seconds to get up to the leader. So he's got to try and push. And with Bozak out front and no one challenging him at the moment because he's already built nearly 4 seconds of gap over Steve, and it's 10 seconds back to Amerman. Nicolator and Nodovan, they're a further 13 seconds back. Beaver, he must be playing the fuel strategy game.
Yeah,
because
that's what I was thinking.
He is not pushing too hard. He's down 2. He's just trying to keep this thing clean and keep himself running forward. So I think at this day, unfortunately, Troy Banks is manually disconnected, so that's a shame. But yeah, Beaver's having to keep this thing under control. And I have to wonder, because we're not going to get a new BOP for this car now until Watkins in 2 months' time.
Right.
So this car's not going to get a BOP update until Watkins Glen. So it's whatever they've decided is however they manage to equalize them after Sebring.
Right.
That, because we don't have a Long Beach special event where we do the 2 hours 40 minutes, which we should have, by the way. I'm a big believer that we should have the Grand Prix of Long Beach. I think it would be incredible and a good SR gain too, if you can keep it clean for the 2 hours and 40 minutes. But we don't have that next IMSA event until Watkins, so it means that the BOP now at the end of Sebring will stay the same for the next 2 months. So
right,
the GT cars will get updated BOP because they've got Nürburgring and Spa. Prior to that,
there is a possibility they could make a tweak to the tire model, because they do have a little patch coming in the next few days or whatever. So I guess in theory that could happen.
It could. And then how well that will then react to the current balance of performance, because I know going into Sebring, I'm pretty sure the strongest car was the Cadillac, based on the BOP. I'm pretty sure, and I believe the Acura may have gotten a little bit of a nerf, possibly.
Yeah, I believe it did.
I know that Daytona, the BMW was the strongest car, alongside the Acura.
The Acura was nasty. Yeah, it was. The Acura was tough too. In fact, it almost made me want to buy. At Daytona, I was running the Ferrari, and I almost wanted to buy the Acura going in a couple of days just because of how fast it was. But I didn't. I didn't switch cars at the last minute. I wasn't that guy.
So did you do the 24 hours of Daytona, Jim?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, we we didn't. We didn't finish. No. We had a. I'll just leave it at we didn't finish.
I have finished a single Daytona 24-hour across my 2 attempts. It was my first attempt. We finished it's either P7 or P4 in the GT class. We did it in the Lambo. And then the second attempt, I never even got a chance to drive the car.
Yeah, well,
yeah,
me either. So that's it was bad. Yeah. I love Daytona. I love Daytona.
I love the Roar. The Roar is my favorite special event of the year.
Well, I would. Yeah, that's a fun one. So, by the way, speaking of special events and we're sports car racing, are you by any chance doing the Nissan GTP 1000 thing this weekend?
So I enjoy life, Jim. So I'd prefer not to, if I'm honest, for the Road America 500.
Yes, the Road America. No, it's 1000, isn't it? Or is it 500?
It's 500.
Okay. So you're a no-go on that, are you?
No. My next special event that I plan on doing is the Watkins Glen 6 hour on June 27th. Or it'll be June 28th for me. So that's my next special event that I plan on doing. After that, I plan on doing the Portimao 1000 in the GT1 car.
GT1 car? You going to do the Aston Martin or the Corvette?
It'll be the Aston.
Yeah. Portimao, huh?
It's the one that I own. Yeah, Algarve.
I
love Algarve.
Yeah, I'm not familiar enough with that track yet to, to be comfortable there. I know it, but I'm not super comfortable there.
Oh, I'll be testing through the month of July, Jim, to make sure that I'm comfortable for attempting that.
And you said you're going to run the Aston Martin there.
Yeah, the Aston Martin, as the rain is still falling, by the way, at turn 1. So it is starting to come down again, so they will have to come in for wets very soon. Yep, there goes Biker Pilot.
Who's that bike?
Squilliam's entered pit lane. I reckon he's coming for wets.
That's a smart move. He's already gained a lot of positions back. If he's the first guy on wets, that could really help him here.
Yeah, we're going to get a good half an hour or so of rain. He's gone up on the Jack's Gym. He is taking wet
Yep, he
tires
indeed is.
in this pit
Yes.
stop.
All
So,
right.
um,
I got a feeling we're going to see several guys jump in here pretty quick.
yeah, he's gone onto wet. So I expect
Yep.
Bozak will come in with him. Yeah, Bozak's in for
He's
wet
in.
tires. So
I think we probably could sit here at the entrance to pit road and see most. Oh, no. Saying that, Simply Steve decided to not come in. Interesting. He's going to leave.
Be a mistake.
Could be. Could be. Nodovan also. Let's see. Well, interesting. Okay. So Nodovan's out.
Yeah, so Nodovan is...
Yeah, several guys are in. Beaver,
yeah.
Bozak, Gavin, Springflower,
Pilot, Tigish, Schwab, Buanake. So the driver now we need to watch is Squilliam and how much gain he gets by being the first on wet tires.
Yeah,
because he's coming down towards the FD section through turn 9 or through turn 8 and turn 9. I think we knew that Bozak was going to get out ahead of him.
Yes,
I think Bozak was probably lucky to come into pit lane while Squilliam was still in.
Yes.
So it means he didn't lose too much time on the outlap. So now what's the gain going to be?
Well, I think the way this worked out, a lot of the guys were coming up to pit road about the time it all kind of kicked off. So a lot of them did not have to run another full lap, which is going to help all of them. Had Squilliam got a full lap on them, he would have probably made up 5 or 6, 7 seconds on.
He's now up to P11, so he has made a gain through stopping the lap, technically the lap prior. So that has paid off for him. We'll see now if he gets gain off. Oh, it is, Jim. I predict the bottom of the hill between right at turn 5, we are going to get a big old puddle right on the inside of the corner. So Simply Steve, Nodovan, Eat My Dust, Springflower, and G-Spot have now all come into pit lane. So for Squilliam, I feel he could get up as far as possibly P8, maybe even P7, Jim.
Yeah, he could. That's probably a good prediction, actually.
The one that he's missed out on is Steve, who's just exiting now, and the same with Nodovan.
Yeah,
so
but I guarantee
he's probably only going to get...
He closed a lot of distance on Steve, though, because Steve made an extra lap. Be interested to see how all this shakes out once they all get back on the track and settled in.
So Squilliam's coming around the final corner. He's gonna get all 3 of them, Jim.
Is he really?
Is he gonna get... Actually, no. Is he gonna get Springflower? No. He's missed Springflower, who's just come out. But the difference is
cold tires.
Squilliam's tires out. Yeah, his tires are out.
Sorry, I got excited there. Okay. He's stepping out, man. Okay. I love a guy driving a car on the edge though, like that, man.
This edge of grip is something else. Absolutely something else.
He's flying though. Look at him.
Oh, he is.
He's all over Springflower.
He's hot on the heels of Springflower. And then Biker Pilot's another 1.9 seconds up the road. So now, because we know that the whole track is wet and they're all on wets, obviously, he can now just start to break it down. He can now just start to push forward. How does this now affect strategy, though, Jim? Because they've pit after 15 minutes, knowing that these guys can go technically 45 minutes on a stint in the dry, but the wet, they can go nearly an hour.
Right.
So is it now going to be, if it rains for the rest of the race, if they get to an hour and 15, they know they can get home on one more stop. If they come in at an hour and it stops raining, how does that change the length of the stint?
That's, all good questions. So you can pull up the radar, right? Because I can. So take a look at the radar and see what you think. See if it's going to.
So currently it's technically 5:50 p.m. in session.
Right.
It's raining until 7 p.m. in session time.
Ooh, that's literally
after that. So the track's not going to dry. We know that the track's not going to dry. It'll stay wet on track, but it's when the rain ends that's going to be important. So we're running at 1x speed. So we're running at a point of the next hour and 10 minutes of this race is going to be rain, which makes me believe they're going to need one more stop to get home, because they're going to be running this whole stint now, this next hour in the wet, which means they can come in at an hour and 15 minutes into the race and they can get home.
Right.
So, but I think it would also extend out to, they could probably come in at an hour and 5 minutes and still make it home, because the track's still going to be wet. The lap times, they're going to be relative, because like Schoolyham's doing a 1 minute 20 the last lap. Some drivers are done 26s. So we're going to have to give it 5 or so laps to really determine what the average pace of the field is. But it normally adds about 10 seconds to the lap time. So you add 10 seconds across, 45 minutes, and however many laps they get out of 45 minutes. That's then how you figure out, well, how much extended time are we getting on those stints. So, for example, the GT cars, they do an hour in the dry gym. You can go an hour and a half in the wet, because to do the same amount of laps takes you an hour
right
in the dry. So it roughly adds that half an hour or 15 minutes extra. So I feel that we're going to have one more stop and we're going to be able to get home, but it's going to be dependent on when they decide to come in for that stop, because I don't think they can come in at 45 minutes to make it home, based on the fact that the track's going to start drying before the end of the race.
So the guy who holds out as long as possible, does he go to possibly, if it works out that way, does he go to dries, and all of a sudden we've got
I don't think the track's going to dry out enough.
No,
because I think the fact that we have 100% precipitation means it's going to be torrential rain,
right?
And this track's going to get so wet. I mean, over an hour alone, it can get wet enough, Jim, that the track state is still wet for 2 hours.
That's true, yeah.
Because of all the standing water. So I don't think we see dry tires as the regular strategy now towards the end of the race. I think they stay on wets, but the rain will eventually stop. So, if this was actual Petit Le Mans, you might get another stint on wet tires before you actually come out on dries after the rain ends. So, it's tough going in the wet, especially, but I think because they're on wet tires, and for Schoolyham, he cannot lift now. He has to just push on. He's up to P6. He's doing 119s.
He's flying.
He's got 2 hours to chase down the top 5 cars.
So he is a second faster than the next fastest guy on the track, and he's 2 to 3 seconds faster than most everybody else on the track.
He ran 3 seconds faster than Beaver in P4, and we know how quick Beaver's been.
Sure, of course.
But we also know that he's even said just before he doesn't do too well in the wet. So,
but he ran a second faster than Bozak.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. I mean, he's a second faster than and he just did it again. He just put down another blistering lap, fastest lap of the race, I think, or fastest lap in the rain. Yeah, he's flying.
So Beaver's done a 19.1, so he started to find pace.
Oh, he did.
Schoolyham's kind of second slower, so they're not going to beat the regular fastest lap, which was set by Schoolyham, mind you, at 109.45. But the rain times that as I said, you give up about 10 seconds. So if you're giving up 10 seconds. Let's do some quick maths, Jim. Let's do some very, very quick
I'll let you do that. I don't feel like taking my shoes off to count that high.
That's fine. So we'll call it 48 minutes for an average stint length with fuel saving, and we'll say the average lap time is a 1:10. So
Captain CK is back in pit road. Interesting. That's interesting. He had stop and go, or he didn't change tires.
No.
Interesting.
So on a normal dry stint, Jim, you're going to get about 41 laps under dry conditions.
Okay.
If we add 10 seconds to it, so it's so we want 41 times what are they running on average? 82 seconds? 82?
Yeah,
56
roughly.
laps. So 56 minutes. So they get an extra 10 minutes on the stint. So they go from having a 48-minute stint to a 56-minute stint, and in the wet, you can save significant fuel.
Yes.
You can save bulk, so they can go an hour. They can save 4 minutes of fuel across the next 50-odd minutes and make it to an hour. So, I actually no. I think the fact that they come in at 15 minutes in, they can just make it on one more stop if they just come in at 1 hour and 5 minutes in. That's pretty much that's your guarantee to get home is say an hour and 5, an hour and 6 roughly. I would try and push it to an hour and 10 because you don't know if the lap's going to go. Oh, you don't know if the race is going to go a lap extra based on when the leader crosses the line.
I want to look at something here. It does not appear to be raining that hard right now. I was fixing to go on. I was fixing to go in the cockpit with Bozak, but he was following behind somebody, so that wouldn't get us
right now, Jim, on the radar, we found a little patch of free air, but there is rain coming. So we're actually about to get some yellow rain. So it is about to get heavy. So we're going to get spotty rain now. So we've just had a little green patch. We're about to get a little green yellow patch for a period. Then there'll be no rain. Then another little patch, no rain, little patch, no rain. So it's spotty rain. So it's going to be heavy rain for those small periods, which means the track's going to stay wet, but I don't think we're going to get the pooling, like too much pooling of water because it's not going to be torrential downpour, just constant rain.
Right.
For the next hour or so. It's going to be spotty. So.
Well, as long as it's spotty, these tires remove a lot of water from the track pretty fast.
They do. So I don't think it's the rain's coming down once again now, actually. So
yeah,
we're not going to get the period. Yeah.
Let's see how Squilliam is getting along here. You can see Nicolator right in front of him now.
Yeah, so he's really started to make those gains now on Nicolator, has Squilliam. But the spray alone, oh my God. That's the big issue now, is the spray, Jim.
Yes.
How much the spray affects you, because you cannot see a thing. Like it is.
That right there was a prime example, though. We cut into the car, the spray got him, but that car is just wiggling all over the place, and you don't even, from the outside view, it just looks like they're driving. These guys are working their butts off in there right now.
It is a straight up,
especially at this track.
To call back to your history, Jim, it is a straight up 8-round main event cage fight.
It is
in
indeed.
That car at the moment. Like you are going 1-on-1 with Renee Gracie in a jiu-jitsu match. Like it is, you just stay. You are scrambling for your life across the lap, and the amount of spray and the amount of standing water that these cars can get on their windscreens and stuff, like it's you can't see. You just cannot see, and it is. You are hoping for the best. You are hoping that you can make your way through as quickly as possible. The tough thing now for the likes of Squilliam is Bozak has got no spray in front of him. He's got clear road. The fact that he'll get blue flag cars in front of him too means that he's not going to be in the spray for too long. And you can even see, like, Squilliam's having to take a different line just to get his brake markers.
He absolutely
to see
is.
his way forward. Like, you are struggling to predict and plan where you can move because you do not know where you can go because you can't see.
And it's from that inside the cockpit shot that we just had from Squilliam. It's raining. Well, obviously this image here you can tell it's coming down again. Good.
Oh yeah, it's like the rain is downpouring, and this is one of those moments, Jim, where you wish we could have double view of you can have outside and inside the car, because I'm sitting inside the car and he's going to owe a Christmas card to his windscreen wiper. I mean, he is working as hard as anything at the moment. Like his windscreen and the amount of spray that is on his windscreen is ridiculous at this stage.
What was that quote? You see him flashing his lights there, and I think back to a race I did earlier in the year. A guy goes, what did he say? He says he's flashing his lights like a German businessman on the Autobahn. So, I'm not even exactly sure what that means, but it sounds cool.
He's flashing his lights like an investor flashes his business card, Jim.
That's right.
Straight out.
That's a good one. Oh,
ooh,
man.
Big wiggle though from Nicolator. That's going to give it to Squilliam for free.
Big wiggle.
Well, you know what? He just got a free sample, Jim.
He did get a free sample.
He got given a piece of bacon at the fridge section of Costco. Like, he's been given a freebie.
All right, let me see. I'm going to see if I can go back and catch that that little twitch there. I don't know that I'm going to be able to.
If you find when Squilliam overtakes him, like it's at 31:27.63.
I don't know if okay, there we go. All right,
here we go. He caught the puddle on the outside. There's that little bit of puddling on the edge of the track, and maybe compounded with the white line as well. And that rear tire just wanted to go. So it was a great catch though from Nicolator.
All right, let's see one more shot like this angle here. Let's try it real quick. Ooh.
Oh, the snap catch.
That was great driving by Nicolator not to lose that car right there.
Yeah.
Because you're also at that part of the track right there where the car's kind of unloaded because of the elevation changes, you know? Wow. Good drive. I mean, that was great. So how far?
And now the problem for Nicolator is he's now copped that spray off the back of Squilliam, so he's had to now back off because he doesn't want to sit right behind him and not be able to see. So the next car on the ticket is Nicolator's teammate Nick Beaver. That's the next one in the line of sight for Squilliam to drive his way forward. And you know what, Jim? I can appreciate the fact. I'm sure he doesn't appreciate it so much of the mistake on that one. But I appreciate it because he's just given us something now to follow for the whole race.
Absolutely.
He has given us the best of the best in terms of his G spot goes round.
I thought he was
brakes, please.
I thought he was going to go right in front of those two, man. He did not. Thank goodness.
And luckily for Squilliam, he hasn't pulled out in front. He's kind of backed it back in towards that little D-shaped section there they use for the Formula Drift series, Jim. He's kind of backed it back and then is going to drive it out of there. So that was very, very lucky. Good mindfulness, though, of G-Spot, just to take his time, watch the relative, and not pull out in front of cars that were oncoming. So
he did a good job there for sure.
He did. So what I've noticed, though, is Beaver's now actually started to break away from Squilliam just a little bit. It's now at 5.3 seconds. Previously, it was at 3 seconds. So for Squilliam, maybe he just took a little bit of care through that section.
Yeah, I think what happened, he probably lifted a little more because I think he had a better chance of that car drifting back out in front of him because he was the second car there. He probably just lifted a little more. It doesn't take much to lose 2 seconds here. I was going to try to go back and see if we get one more look at that little whole episode, but this is right before it. Oh, man. Whew.
Oh, good job holding his brakes, though.
He did, because, look, Beaver was right there. If he hadn't held his brakes, Beaver would have crushed him. So now Beaver's out here a decent amount ahead. I have to say that, I was never really an Acura fan, but that car looks good. Just the front end of that car. Of course, there's so many of them that look good. I love these cars.
When I think it was Penske ran Acuras for a period, their liveries looked really nice on that car. And I think Andretti ran an Acura for a period as well.
Really?
That looked really, really nice. I think so. I can't remember now, to be honest. It was like a white, silver, black, and orange, or almost like peach-colored Acura. It looked really, really nice. it followed the shape of the car really, really nicely. Unfortunately, Captain CK has manually disconnected, so he's now out of the race as well.
Yeah, I think the
just a shame.
frustration starts setting in for these guys that struggle a little bit in the rain. I'm not gonna lie, it probably would for me. I'm not the best rain driver. After I ran off the track, 6 or 8 times, I'd probably be frustrated too. These cars, I love these cars, but I tried to drive them since the tire model, and early on when the tires are cold, they're a handful.
Oh yeah, they are. They are. It is, as I said, it's like a wrestling match. You are arm wrestling this thing to try and keep it on the road and keep yourself, in a straight line.
Oh, there's somebody going around hard in the back there.
Oh, that was Urko, one of the lap cars. I think no, Urko's gone around further round actually, up at turn 7. He's just towed back.
Who was that?
Oh, it was Nick Beaver.
No,
it wasn't Beaver. He's kept going. He's kept going.
Don't scare me like that.
Figure out who was it. Oh, it was Eat My Dust.
Oh no,
it was Eat My Dust, who was in battle for position behind Squilliam.
Oh, look at that, man!
Oh my god, big snap.
Big snap.
Oh, he turned that into a Peugeot for a period of time.
He did turn it into a Peugeot. At a really high rate of speed. That's a high speed corner right there too.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
and
it is.
I like the way his rear wing regrew. That was nice.
Yeah, but the thing is crabbing like
he's
doing the crab dance now around this circuit.
Oh man, yeah, that was nasty. This place is brutal in the rain, man. There's so many elevation changes where the car unloads on you, and the car unloading in wet conditions is just horrible.
Yeah, it's the undulation, the unload on the car,
like right there.
The car then reloading under brakes. It's just and you then wonder why doesn't it stop more? The lead has gone off the track, Jim. Bozak has gone off the track down at turn 6.
Oh my goodness. Let's go see.
A simple single mistake under brakes. And off the road he goes into the tire barrier.
Wow.
Broken front wheel. That thing, unfortunately for him, Jim, he's going to have to come and get that thing fixed, but he's also then going to still need another pit stop to get home.
Wow.
Heartbreak for Bozak.
That's tough. That's a tough break right there.
But that is how quick. That is how quick it can change. That is how quick it can turn on its head in an absolute instant, in an absolute, little breath, little.
And the thing is,
change.
He's going to take a while to get back to pit road with a torn up car.
Not just that, the thing's not going to want to turn. Plus, it's not going to want to grip because it's wet. This now.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, realistically speaking, Jim, with an hour and a half to go, you could argue this is now taking him out of the race.
Oh,
it's. Without mistakes from the other cars, I don't think he has enough natural pace. Compounded with the fact he's going to now have to take an extra pit stop to fix the car.
Right.
It's going to take mistakes now from everyone else for him to get back into this, realistically speaking, because it's not like Petit Le Mans where you've got
9 hours, right? Yeah, exactly.
You've only got an hour and a half. You've got a regular race distance for the endurance series to get this back, and unfortunately, he just
I had a horrible realism right there. The level of excitement that we've had so far, this has been, it's been really exciting. You had the whole Squilliam thing, and he's given us something to really watch as he makes his way back through the rain and all this stuff. Leader going off track there, wrecking. We're only 35 minutes into a 2-hour race.
Yep.
We got a ton of action to go. Plus, how many cars do we have that are out of the race?
And Steve as well. He's now going to cop a slowdown because he's just straight line 10B. So these drivers are starting to break away, Jim. Oh my God.
So what's interesting is,
Oliver Bozak's teammate is on the podium still.
Yeah.
But Squilliam's job now just got that little bit easier. And
it did.
Also the fact that he's caught some time back up on Beaver.
Yeah.
He's now down to only 3.7 seconds as he tries to get past some lap traffic. So it is, it's heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking.
I've got a question for you. So when you look at the timing tower on the screen, right? So right now I have it set to interval. As a race fan, do you prefer to watch it on interval or do you prefer to watch it on gap?
I prefer interval.
I do too. I just
because the interval means that it's whoever's closest to the next car.
Right.
I will sometimes, if I'm sitting on the leader, I will then change it to gap periodically because then you can see what the relative gap is to the rest of the field from the leader.
Yeah.
So then you know what they have to gain up on them. But I leave it on interval because then when you're swapping and change, because gap can then get confusing because then you might think, oh, this car's a minute and 5 seconds behind the next car ahead. No, that's the gap to the leader. So I prefer interval.
Yep.
I will reference gap because obviously you want to know like how far away is someone from the leader. Squilliam, for example, 17 seconds from the leader at the moment.
Right.
But he's 3 seconds to the car ahead. So as Urko's, Bozak's gone off to let his teammate pass Nodovan. So
yeah, that's a. So, he did pit to fix his car, right? He's repaired now.
He would have had. Yeah. He has. He's come in.
So he's still in 10th place after pitting to repair his car.
That is because he had lapped everyone up to P10 by that point. So he wasn't going to drop further down than P10. If he can just keep this thing on the road, he can remain in the top 10.
Where is Steve at? Oh, Steve's right in front of him. No, huh?
So Nodovan's right in front of Bozak. And then another 4 odd seconds up the road from Nodovan is Steve.
And Bozak is on the lead lap, or he is not?
He's off the lead lap now.
Okay,
so
he is
now
off.
a lap down.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, it's a long race. I mean, we wrote, a lot of people would have written Squilliam off with what happened earlier on, and look where he's at now, sitting comfortably in 4th place. Going good.
Like we're gonna need a snack in the middle of this, Jim. I must say. It'll be
well,
2 hours long. We might need a little snack.
I've got some pretzels and some crackers and some fruit snacks. James refuses to let me eat fruit snacks around him.
Wow.
Yeah, he hates it when I eat fruit snacks.
Ridiculous.
Well, James is touchy like that.
I've got some. I hope you're ready for this, Jim. I've got some.
Vegemite?
Jam donut. No. I've got some jam donut flavored yogurt in my fridge.
So jelly donut flavored yogurt.
Yep.
Okay, now is
inspired by raspberry jelly donut.
Is it regular? Is it regular yogurt or is Greek? See,
Greek yogurt.
Greek yogurt has taken over the world, and I'm just not. I don't like the flavor of Greek yogurt.
I don't like the flavor of unsweetened Greek yogurt.
Okay. So
sweetened Greek yogurt tastes good.
I've noticed here that Jason seems to be having a massive struggle here, just based on the amount of yellow incidents that have popped up in my newsfeed.
It seems like we're picking on him at this point, Jim. We're mentioning how many yellow off tracks he's getting.
No, look, man, I'm not picking on anyone. I guarantee you all of these guys are doing as good or better than I could do. I am horrible in the rain, and I would have probably set some kind of, who's that in front of him there that just went off too, though? They're all over the place.
Urko. Yeah, that was Urko.
Yeah, Urko's had his moments too. So I'm not picking on anyone. I'm just like wanting to, if there's some hard licks into the wall or tearing up some cars, I just want to show everybody, give an opportunity for everybody to see that kind of stuff that's watching. By the way, if anybody's watching in chat, come on, man, chat us up. We got 2 hours here. Let's talk. We can even talk about raspberry-inspired filled jelly donut yogurt if you would like.
I could even give a live review if people wanted to. I'll go and get it out of the fridge and eat it.
So yeah, I've got peanut butter crackers and I've got the best pretzels in the world, and I don't even like pretzels. That's what's funny. These pretzels are so good that I eat them, and I don't even like like hard pretzels. I like soft pretzels. So I believe that Squilliam is sending somebody a message there. I don't really know who that is, but
it's to someone. I'm not sure who.
Clearly,
whether it's to himself or maybe us.
It could be us. Does
William hate us? I mean, he wins races.
He put it.
We get to call him winning races.
He put it right where we could see it, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He knows there's a hamburger cam on the roof.
He does indeed. That was well placed by Squilliam. I'll give him that.
Unless if there's one on his Sprint F3 car as well, then I think he is trying to send us a message.
Yes, clearly. Look at him. He's trying to get out of that. He's trying to get out of that spray right there. He's fixing to try to put a move on Nick Beaver here.
Yeah,
he's closing pretty fast on him. In fact,
at this stage, Eat My Dust is in pit lane. G-Spot, unfortunately, is pulled out of the race, as well as Captain CK, who we mentioned before. So we're 42 minutes in, Jim. We're nearly at the end of what would be a regular dry stint in these cars. But we expect them to go to the hour, seeing as they pitted 15 minutes in.
Yes.
And they can get 56 minutes to an hour on the fuel for a wet stint. So for the pace they're doing, we expect them to go to, relatively speaking, an hour and 10 minutes into the race.
And then you got somebody like Bozak who can go all the way and just take a splash somewhere with like 15 to 20 minutes left.
Yeah, it's going to be how much time does he lose doing that splash, though? That's the problem.
Right, but he's gonna take less fuel on another stop than anybody.
Yes, it's true. He's probably gonna have to either go long, and make up time on track, or he's gonna have to, as Bieber's gonna play the smart game and sit in behind Squilliam, probably save a bit of fuel maybe as well, just not trying to push on too hard. Bieber's definitely playing the smart game. He doesn't want to get into a battle at this point. We're not even halfway. He wants to save fuel and try and make up time in the pits, which is what Bozak's going to have to do. I think smart money is Bozak just comes in with everyone else, auto fuels it to the end, and then pushes on and makes up some time in pits and then makes up the rest of the time on track, because the longer he goes, the worse his tyres are going to get, and that's then going to be more pressure on him to try and figure out the exact amount of fuel he's going to need to get to the end of the race.
I mean, that's true. He's got... Well, it just depends on how these wet tires wear and how wet the track stays.
And how well they can keep it on track as well.
Yes, well, of course, that's goes without saying.
Yeah. Well, no, you never know, Jim. They might attempt a rallycross race.
These vehicles aren't well equipped for that, unfortunately.
Their ground effects and no suspension is not going to help you in a rallycross scenario, especially at Road Atlanta.
So, okay, so let's see. I need to actually go into my UI for a second to make a sound adjustment on, but I don't think anybody will mind. We'll be all right.
Yeah, it'll be very, very quick.
Yeah, it won't take long. If I could get the UI to expand, that would be wonderful. There we go. All right.
There we go.
Real quick. Yeah, just
real quick.
Yeah, a little sound adjustment here real quick. I realized I had...
the car's way too low.
Way too low, yeah. So we'll get that back up there. I mean, I had it cranked up in iRate. Oh, there we go. Now let me fix that. Yep, just give me 1 second. I'll get that fixed over here. All right. That should be good. The only problem is now it's blaring in my ears.
Well,
and I don't have.
If we shrink the UI, then we can change how loud it is in your ears, Jim, as well.
Can we? We can do that.
Possibly.
Well,
if you have a software that turns it down in your ears, we could do that.
Well, there's kind of a story there.
Mm-hmm.
I did. I was using Elgato's wavelength, and then all of a sudden it stopped working yesterday, and I have not had a chance to figure out why. And so it won't open. So I can't make the adjustments.
That sounds like a real pickle to have, Jim, I must say.
It is. Indeed, it is a pickle.
Yeah.
So I had turned the cars down earlier today when I was broadcasting a race with James because I wasn't doing the broadcasting. He was.
Yeah.
So now I need to go back and verify how loud the cars are in game in our broadcast. So I'm going to do that. You just keep talking, and I'm going to jump in here and make that audio adjustment.
As we currently stand, we've got an hour and 13 minutes left on the clock. Simply Steve leads the way. We're right on board with Nick Beaver, who's in this battle at the moment with Squilliam for P3. Squilliam's got 8.5 seconds up the road to Nodovan in P2 at the moment in the night racing Cadillac at this stage. It's, this circuit offers up real tests, and I think, we spoke about earlier, myself and Jim, with, iRacing special events and ones that we love, and I think the Petit Le Mans is one that definitely challenges drivers out there, and it's one that I think, I think drivers are, they're excited about when it comes around in October, and it's one that really puts out tests, and I think as well the fact that that drivers, what other special events can we have? I'd love it because obviously they've got the partnership with IMSA Gym. I'd love it if we could have the Grand Prix, the IMSA Grand Prix as single driver special events. 2 hours 40 minutes at Long Beach, 2 hours 40 minutes. At other circuits. Squilliam's just had a big old slide there on the exit. He's kept going though. It's just a bit of a wiggle.
I was gonna see if I had a little, but I don't really. I agree with you. I would love to see a little more of that as special events. They do have those. They're officials, but they're kind of special events. Like they only, they do them maybe once a month or so. Those longer single person races. I can't think of the name of the series that they run them under, but
it's the IMSA Endurance Series,
which I'm also a huge fan of the Nürburgring Endurance Series, which comes back this week. Actually, it's making its return, where it's 3 hours and you can do it solo in any of the GTPs, GT3s, GT4s. And
the Porsche Cup?
Maybe Porsche Cup and TCR, something like that. I always run GT3 or GT4, so. But those are fun, and I'm glad those are coming back.
And confirm, Jim, the yogurt does taste like jelly donut.
I knew when your microphone went low for a minute, I knew you were getting that yogurt.
I got my partner to go get it for me. Absolute gem.
That's funny.
I haven't eaten yet today, Jim, and I was getting very hungry.
So the other night I was doing, what was I doing? Something long. And my wife comes in with just an armload of snacks, and I'm like, you're the greatest ever.
It's like they know.
Well, she definitely knows. Man, this iRacing is booming in my ears. I wish I could figure out how to get that down.
Do you have a volume adjuster on the actual headset, Jim?
Yes, but it's going to take you down as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's
what an issue.
The problem was that the wavelength software separated things into individual channels, right? So I had it set a certain way. Well, when it went out, apparently the iRacing volume was very loud. And so I have no way of rebalancing that, re-EQing that, because there's not any other software on the computer, I don't think, that will it separate all my audio inputs like that? Or if there is, I'm not sure what. I'm sorry. See, that's what happened. I can't hear you because of.
So unless you have the Steel Series app,
I do
then
not.
you can separate certain things.
You know what though? I just thought of something. Stream Deck probably has another software that will do that. So I'm going to go
possibly, or if you have buttons set on your Stream Deck that can turn down iRacing whilst you're.
But it will kill. The problem is that will kill the main feed volume, which
I feel like it's. If we can balance the sound though, that we can hear the cars just enough, but you're not getting deafened, Jim. I think that's probably a good balance.
Right. Well, that's.
I would say.
Let me look here while we're broadcasting. We're all right. I'm good. I can somewhat. I can somewhat do two things at once. So right now, where are we at on lap cars? I'm trying to see.
So the leader has lapped up to, I believe, P7.
7, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So where is Springflower? Okay. And then where is the leader? So Springflower is just coming down the main straight, front straight. And Springflower is... Okay. So he's still got almost a lap. Is that right? Wait a minute. No, I think he's up to Nicolator. He's
up to Nicolator.
He's already lapped Springflower, so he's up to Nicolator. Yeah. And where is Nicolator?
Nicolator's running up through underneath the Fox factory bridge.
Yes. Say that 3 times fast with a mouthful of yogurt.
Okay. Fox Factory Bridge, Fox Factory Bridge, Fox Factory Bridge.
There we go.
I just opened up my second yogurt, Jim, so you timed that perfectly.
2 yogurts. He's 2 yogurts in, folks. Watch him. He's a dangerous man.
I'm also 1.5 monsters in as well, Jim.
Oh, yeah. I did not do a monster tonight. I don't do monsters, but I do C4s, but I did not do a C4 tonight.
C4s are not easily available, and I deliberately drink Monster Ultras because they're 0 sugar.
Yes, well, these are the C4s I do are 0 sugar as well.
Yeah, I also like the G Fuels because the G Fuels are also 0 sugar.
Yes.
They've got other chemicals that are bad for you, but as long as there's no sugar, I'm happy.
That's right. That's right. Well, I got to watch my sugar, so I got to be a good boy.
As a larger gentleman, I also need to watch my sugar intake. Not that I have diabetes.
Oh, I have raging diabetes, especially during certain times of the year when I don't watch my diet at all.
I'm not hypoglycemic either, so...
Yeah, there's no danger of me ever being hypoglycemic.
No, you're the opposite.
There's no chance that will ever happen, yeah.
Yeah, no, you're the opposite.
Yeah, I have naturally high blood sugars anyway, and that's just a nice way of saying I'm fat and I don't take care of myself. And I went in for a medical procedure the other day, and all the nurses were freaking out when they saw my blood sugar. And I'm like, it stays there all the time. You know, it's no big deal. Doctor comes in. They're like, doctor, his blood sugar's this. And he's like, yeah, he runs that high all the time. We got no worries with that. And off they went. But yeah, that's just a nice way of me saying I don't take care of myself as much as I should, which is certainly a point of contention with my bride. And I'm trying to see.
I try to eat relatively well. It's more or less I'm not active enough to counterbalance that.
Right. Well, I used to eat. The problem for me was I used to eat like, when I was playing football, I used to eat like a football player. And then as I got into my mid-30s and 40s, I still tried to eat like I was a football player because it was a mindset I was in.
Yeah.
And I would order so much food, and then I felt like I just had to eat it because I had ordered it. And I finally gotten to a place in my life now where I don't do that anymore. But I was burning 10,000 calories a day back when I was playing football, and that's certainly at my age and activity level is not the case anymore.
No, I just try and eat within my calorie deficit to keep myself healthy. So I don't intake my liquid calories. There's no sugar in them. So whether that's water or water, no sugar energy drinks, or no sugar soda. So then at least it's low calorie.
So I do have a question for you real quick. As Simply Steve
yes.
goes by here with that bomb pop on the back wing, right? What about a bomb pop? Would you do a bomb pop?
I've had a bomb pop before, Jim.
Sorry, I was just being silly.
Compounded with the fact as well, I've also had technically it's the bomb pop flavor of Prime as well. I'm not a big fan of like fake cherry flavor too much, Jim.
Right.
I don't mind it. Bomb pops are okay.
They actually have something a C4 bomb pop flavor too.
Well, I think G Fuel does too. Yeah. If I'm gonna have something that's cherry flavored, I'd rather have Dr Pepper. To be honest with you.
Fair enough. Yeah. They got all kinds of of course, Dr Pepper's from Texas, so they have all kinds of cool.
The vanilla cream soda.
That's a good one.
Dr Pepper is incredible.
Yes.
It is fantastic. Very expensive for me to get, Jim, because I have to go to a corner store to get it. I can't just get it from the supermarket.
Have you seen? Have you tried the? They got a brand new one they just released, I guess, coming into summer. It's blackberry.
I don't believe we have that one.
Okay, that's brand new. So
relatively speaking, for like really like specific sodas from the US. So if I go to Costco, I can buy Dr Pepper. I can buy the vanilla cream soda Dr Pepper. Anything that's like outside of that. So like, for example, if I can get regular Mountain Dew. Certain places, like I think Costco sometimes have it, I can get Code Red. Anything else, any of the Baja Blast flavors, I have to go to a bodega.
Code Red, that's like a Big Red, or
it's the Mountain Dew Code Red is like their cherry one.
Okay, yeah. Mountain Dew, okay,
yeah.
So I just noticed something real quick.
Any of the Baja flavors, I have to go to a bodega if I want to get a Baja flavor, pretty much, and they have to just stock it, pretty much.
So look at this right here. We got Simply Steve, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's Simply Steve. There's Nodovan.
Yep. Right on him.
There's Squilliam.
Yep.
And there's Nick Beaver. I mean, we got four cars.
It's amazing how the traffic and the natural progression of the race can get you all back together again.
It does. I mean, I did not expect to see all four of those guys within a few seconds of each other.
You get to the end of the Sebring 12-hour, Jim, or the end of the Daytona 24-hour, all the strategies come together, and then all of a sudden you have a 4-car battle for the win.
That's true.
Now, mind you, we've still got an hour left.
Still,
if this was a regular length race, we were about to have a half-an-hour battle for the lead.
That's true.
Are we going to get an hour-long battle for the lead? I don't know. I feel like the natural progression is we have a battle for half an hour. Squilliam or Nodovan gets past and they break away.
We'll see. On their lap times. So who do you think? Who do you think is going to be the car here? From where we're sitting right now, who do you think is the man? You think it's Squilliam?
Based on his lap time alone, I think it is him. But then there's also the question of, is he pushing too hard? We've seen him prove himself before. We know the kind of pace he's got. Bozak made a mistake that took him out of the lead.
Right.
We know that Nodovan's got pace. Simply Steve's a little bit unproven to me. We know what Beaver can do as well. My gut says Squilliam, but my heart says Simply Steve, just to get a different winner and someone who is unproven.
Sure.
Give them the opportunity to prove themselves at the front and try and take a win.
Yeah, I mean, you can't argue with that. That's, that makes good sense. And I don't know. There's the bomb pop. Look at there.
There it is on the side.
I don't know. I guess, at this point, my head's telling me Squilliam for sure. But I tell you who else is running lightning laps right now is Nick Beaver.
Yeah, which we know that he's got that sort of pace in him. We know that he can run those sorts of laps, and he can push on like that. He's playing the smart game. So the smart game often, cream rises to the top. He's played smart game before. You think back to Silverstone, he saved fuel so much that he
Yes.
managed to win.
Yes, he did.
And he's probably doing the same thing now. So, there's that too. But the fact that the top 4 cars are separated by 5 seconds and they're all in shot together at an hour into what is an endurance race,
I know,
in quotes, is incredible, because it shows that they all have pace and they all have the similar pace. And everyone else, they've kind of all spread out through, whether it's struggling in the wet or it's just struggling in general out there. That's racing. It's what happens.
So the question is, did Bozak not run off the track and need a repair? Where would he be right now?
He'd probably be about 10 seconds up the road still.
Right.
Because he was running very consistent quick laps. As I've just noticed as well, Teagish has had a crash further back as well, Jim, and he's actually now had to come into pit lane. So I have a feeling it might have been at the FD section where he's had this moment. Oh no, it was coming into pit lane. What's he done? Oh, that's an unsafe pit entry. Well, unfortunately for him, he's now going to have a stop hold.
Yeah, probably a pretty good one.
What we're now seeing is some drivers are coming in. So Teagish, Bike Pilot coming in at the hour mark of this race. I feel like it might be a little bit too early. Might be a little bit too early for them, Jim, to come in now, because we're not sure what the pace is going to be like as the track starts to dry. So that's now the issue that they have on hand.
Right. By the
Because
way,
we are getting towards the end of the rain.
yeah, I was going to ask you, how's that looking?
So we've got about half an hour left of rain. We are on the other side nearly, so there's a bit of a green patch coming. So for the next 22 minutes, we've got rain, and then after that, there's no rain. So will the track dry in time for the end? I don't know. It's looking pretty wet still. I think it's just going to come down to how much water can they dissipate off the track. And that's then going to determine if we're going to get dry tyre running or not. I don't think we will. I think it's going to be wet tyres to the end. And I think if you want to confirm yourself to the end, you've been saving fuel to this point, and you try and get to an hour and 10 minutes in before you pit. Because you want to at least limit your run to be 50 minutes. Because they can save on dries to go 50 minutes, but you know that the wet is going to take you 56. So you either come in an hour and 10, or you run this tank out till it's dry, which will roughly be an hour and 10 minutes to an hour and 15. So they're going to have to go to the limit of the tank, come in, and hope and pray you make it. That's going to be the strategy. I think for Teagish and for Biker Pilot, they've come in that little bit too early to do that. So it could be a bit of a mistake. They're going to need to save some fuel. They are a lap down though, so that will help them at least. But if the race goes a lap longer, then if they cross the line with 5 seconds to go and we get an extra lap, they're gonna be on edge, as Teagish has just had another crash. He's had to keep it going again. He hasn't damaged the car. It was down at turn 7. So at this point, Jim, it's this is now the tough part of the race, because you're coming in to do your pit, and then you're just trying to get to the checkered flag, and you're just trying to get to that final 15 minutes where you battle. So
was that Steve that was behind him there?
No, I think it was Steve's teammate,
which would be
Eat My
Springflower.
Dust.
No, Eat My Dust. That's right. Yeah. The reason I say that is because a lot of times, it's happened to me before, when you're kind of gingerly getting around the track anyway, and the leader comes up behind you, you do something to get out of the way and end up messing yourself up,
Oh no, I just block.
Screw
your blue flags. I'm just going to block. Squilliam's in.
Okay.
So Squilliam's going to play the gamble.
He is playing the gamble.
So he's going to go. He's banking on the fact that the wet running is 56 minutes. That's what he's banking on right now. So he wants to try and undercut them. This could play out though. It could play out because, as I said, if the track's going to remain wet for the rest of the race, even without rain, it will play into his hands a little bit. But as the track starts to dry, those laps are going to get faster and faster, and it's going to cut down on the lap amount. So,
well, I don't know if his tires may have been a little more worn because he's been driving a lot harder than a lot of guys on the track, you know.
He also came in a lap earlier than them on the initial stop. So this might be literally the limit of his run. So he is still in the box. We'll see when he comes out. Oh, it's a longer stop.
It is a long stop. He's over.
Oh, no, to be fair, no. It's a full stop. It's a full stop. That's why. Because remember last time they already had fuel in the tank. So they did a short stop.
That's true. Yeah.
Yep. So he's taken a full stop of 45 seconds or 42 seconds. So that's fine.
Is he out? Yeah, he's out though, right?
Yeah, he's out. He's out on track. He's out in P5. He's still a lap ahead. Where's Bozak in comparison?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's still a lap ahead of Bozak. But that time's coming down quick to give us the real gap. It's about 31 seconds or so. But Bozak will still need that other stop.
Sure, yeah.
So he's whether how much time he gains in that stop, I'm not sure.
I mean, where it's going to work out for Bozak, where it's going to work out for Bozak big time is if he stays out there because of what happened earlier, and the track does get dry enough, which it does not at this point appear like it is because it's still raining cats and dogs right now.
Oh, that would be huge. You'd have to have a heat lamp out there, I think, Jim, just to dissipate all the water. I mean, it's. That almost seems like an impossibility at this point, but we have been proven wrong before.
The thing is, these cars will dissipate a lot of the water if it stops raining off of the racing line, because these tires get rid of a lot of water.
And then the problem you have is when you get off racing line.
Yes.
That's a car that's gone into the wall, Jim. Sorry, Nick Beaver is off the track and into the wall at the exit of the final corner in a wild moment.
Oh, yeah, just lost it right there in that high speed. Oh, big hit. Oh, man. Did he tow? Yeah, he towed.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, man. That was, I mean, that's a classic spot, though, man. You are flying right there. It's coming downhill. That car has not, the suspension has not recompressed because you hadn't hit the bottom yet.
Jim, I've just seen on board, he was full lock trying to save that thing.
Was he?
And once it went, it was gone. So if you go,
let's see, we'll go cockpit.
Either cockpit, or what would be your actual roll bar cam, not roll bar cam, because that's on the roof.
Let's do cockpit just to be safe. So go back to where did he go off track at? Here.
It's 1:13:11:62.
Ooh.
He knew at that point. Once it went, he knew that it was gone, and he's like, "Oh well, I'm in the wall."
I'm going to turn the car up significantly there, and let's go back to that real quick. Where's it at? 113. Here it is. Listen to his tires unload. He was, wow. Man,
Donovan's in pit lane as well, Jim.
That is a tough break there. So Simply Steve's still out. Nodovan's in, just coming in. Obviously, he's going to do a full stop.
Yep. To give you an update on Squilliam, he's at turn 6 and 7.
Yep. So 6 and 7. So
yeah, then about to run up through 8, and then in through 9 and 10A and 10B.
Nodovan is going to be in pits roughly about a minute. Ish.
Yeah, he's got about 20 odd. You'd say about 20 odd seconds, maybe 30. It's going to be close. I feel like he may get out ahead of Squilliam.
Yeah,
though.
I think so.
Yeah, about 10 seconds.
It's going to be close, though.
It will be close.
It's really going to depend on how fast his pit stop is.
So this is now, it's not changed the championship too significantly, because Beaver, of course, leads the championship into this race. Notovan's just exiting now. Beaver's into Squilliam's into turn 1.
There goes Steve.
Squilliam's in. Yeah, they go. No, that wasn't even Steve. That
Oh,
was that was his teammate.
Okay.
So Squilliam is just He's just in behind him about 1.3 seconds.
Them fresh tires
right there.
Yeah, he's gonna pass him.
Yep. So the undercut has worked well here for Squilliam. He's going to try and get him round the outside at turn 5. Job done for Squilliam through the S's. And now look to chase down Simply Steve. So this strategy could play massive dividends now for Squilliam. He's back to where he started the race. You think back to an hour and 11 minutes ago, Jim. He was turned around at the exit of the final corner as they started the race.
Indeed he was, yeah.
How it can change.
I mean, to be fair, he's done a phenomenal job. He's driven fast lap after fast lap, navigated traffic. He's done a fantastic job of getting himself back into that spot.
Nicolator's also now jumped Notovan, but Nicolator still needs his next stop. So corrected position, Notovan is P3 at the moment.
Yes.
So when does Steve come in, and does he take less fuel by going long?
I mean, certainly in theory he could, It depends on how he's going to set his.
But the other theory is too, though, the other two could have taken less fuel as well because they can go because they could have gone this long.
So let's see.
He stayed out.
Squilliam's pit stop, the whole thing was 111, and Notovan was a 109.
But he went. So the pit stop time was Squilliam was a 42.63, Notovan's was a 41.87. So there was that little bit of gain.
Right.
Plus he was likely a little bit faster through the lane itself, whether that's on entry or on exit.
Right. So let's see. Where's Steve now? Okay, he's still motoring out there. I mean, the way these guys are pitting, you would think Steve's going to have to probably pit soon, this lap or the next, or something.
He couldn't go too long.
No, that's what I'm saying. He can't have that much left.
He will have to come in at some point.
My question is, with fresher tires, is Squilliam making up a massive amount of ground here on Steve as well? Here he comes. He's coming in now.
Yeah, he's coming in now. So
let's see how that goes.
So he's in pit lane for Simply Steve. Squilliam is down at turn 5 at the moment, Jim. So he's roughly in the same spot he was in comparison to Notovan. But is he going to be able to gain on him? The gap was 1 minute and 7 seconds before the pit stop. Oh, but Squilliam's just gone off at turn 6.
No. Oh, he did.
So you'd have to think now Steve's going to come out ahead of him. It was just a run wide. Just a little. The thing just didn't want to turn.
Yeah.
He was lucky to keep it out of the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least he didn't tear it up. And he only gave up position to a lap car. But that should mean now Steve's going to come out ahead of him. The tyres are going to be dirty on Squilliam's car. Squilliam's just entering the FD section now. Steve is still in the pit box.
Really?
So this is going to be tight. This is going to be incredibly tight. He's exiting now. Squilliam's exiting pits. Oh, sorry. Steve's exiting pits. Squilliam's coming up to him. So you'd have to argue, Jim, that off track probably cost Squilliam the lead.
Absolutely, it cost him the lead. I mean, he would have been comfortably out in front because that had to cost him 4 or 5 seconds. So now, where's Steve? Okay, so there's a car in between the two of them, too. Oh, the car moved out of the way.
Smart move by them.
Yes.
So Nicolator's in as well. Jason Wanaki, the cat daddy himself, is in. Squilliam side by side with the leader, Simply Steve. This is for the lead of the race. Goes through before the braking zone of 10A, 10B. So the cold tires of Steve once again has played into the hands of Squilliam, same as it did with Nodovan as well. So Squilliam now leads the way, Jim, with 44 minutes left on the clock. You'd have to think smart money says he runs away with things, but he's not exempt to mistake. He's not exempt to failure, because we saw the mistake on the in-lap for Steve that very well could have ruined Squilliam's whole race.
Yeah, indeed. That was, I mean, he got incredibly lucky there. Incredibly lucky. So many ways, you know, that he was still able to retake the lead, the fact that he didn't tear up his car. Man, it's, you know, the way things have worked out for him today, for these couple of incidents that he's been in and able to recover from, you know, I'm not a believer in like destiny or fate or whatever, but it sure seems like things are falling his way for this to be his race.
Through the heartbreak of, I mean, this here, Jim, is a good example of why you should just never give up, even if you get into strife at the start of a race, because how things can turn around and how you can earn back your victory for Squilliam here, because he was spun round before the race even, as the race started. And now he's back to the lead of the race. Amazing. After an hour and 17 minutes. I mean,
no, it's incredible.
It's insane. Absolutely insane that can happen.
And then
for a driver out in the
knowing,
field.
I'm sure he knew that Steve was pitting, and he runs off track, and you got to think at that moment, imagine what your emotions would be at that moment. God, I just threw away the lead of the race. I had a chance to lead the race, you know, and he recovered from that as well. And kept his composure, because that's exactly the kind of spot that you could put pressure on yourself and turn around and make another mistake right after that with dirty tires, you know, trying to overdrive it to catch up. And man, he's just, I don't want to say putting on a clinic, because I don't think you would teach half of this stuff, but it's...
Well, he kept himself cool, kept himself collected. And at this point now, he's just got to try and keep it clean. He's got 6 seconds over Steve, who's got not even hot on his heels. Oh my God, no. The race has just gotten worse for Bozak, Jim.
What happened?
It has just gotten worse for Bozak.
Oh, he went off track?
He has had a crash up at turn 2, 3, and down through the S's, and it is compounding his race at this point. It was a little scrape of the wall, not too much damage, but one that definitely will hurt the ego a little bit, especially after what happened earlier in the race.
Yeah, it's just not his day, unfortunately. I don't know, and there was a part of me that was kind of pulling for him. I don't know why. I had no particular allegiance to any of these guys, or, you know, I don't know. I just felt really bad for him. But I'm not gonna lie to you, seeing what Squilliam has done today has been quite impressive. It really has.
It has been an immense an immense effort from him. I think it's been one that he's proven himself once again. You know, he's got some immense pace about him. Oh,
Steve's off the course.
Off the road. What's happened? How has this happened to Simply Steve?
And he is losing a mountain of time.
Oh no, it was turn 6 again under brakes. He was so lucky, Jim, not to hit the wall. I'm just watching it back now.
Yeah, I'm gonna hear.
That was...
Look at this. Oh, he just, way overshot.
Yeah, it's exactly what Bozak did.
How did that car stop like that?
Good old kitty litter, Jim, that's how. He just put it on the anchors, and luckily it stopped. Oh my God, Squilliam's gone around at the front of the field!
Oh, no.
The race has turned on its head. It's on the main straight. It's the final corner again.
Yes.
Rear end snap.
Big hit, too. Big hit. Oh, man.
I think we can confidently say race over for Squilliam, at least to the lead.
So
that is.
So Nodovan is in the lead now.
Yeah, he's in the lead. Simply Steve is still in this thing. He's 17 seconds back, but he's still in it. The car is surviving. Beaver's now back in this thing too, but he's about 40 seconds back from Nodovan. But the amount of mistakes we are seeing from the race leaders, Jim, it almost makes you think it could be anyone's race at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I at this point, I don't think it's over for sure. That was incredible.
Squilliam has manually disconnected from the server.
He tore it up.
That is race over. Yep. Let's just make sure we're back on live as well, Jim.
Yeah.
Because I've just noticed Nodovan has he disappeared? No, we're on scenic. That's why.
No.
Oh, scared me for a minute. I thought he'd gone.
Oh, look at this.
Wow.
Nice run there. Oh my goodness, man! Wow, how about the last 2 minutes, huh?
What a crazy race.
We had the leader go off twice. Well, Steve, I guess technically wasn't the leader when he went off, but
no, but he previous leader.
Yeah, he had led a lot of laps.
He would have been the leader if he hadn't have gone off.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
Oh my God, it is. And you know what, Jim? When Bozak comes into pit lane to do his final stop, we're going to have 3 cars left on the lead lap.
Mm-hmm.
How art can imitate life and how sim can imitate life as well. It is like we've compounded down a full endurance race to 2 hours. Like we've had everything that could happen across a 10-hour race. Everything that could happen in the Pit Le Mans. We've compacted and compounded it down into 2 hours at this point.
Yeah, I'm still in shock from that little 2-minute period there where the whole field got shaken up. That was, we had what looked like was going to be a nice 4-car race. Now we got 4 cars on the lead lap, including one that hasn't pitted. Wow.
Well, it is insane how things can change. It is insane how quickly it can flip on its head. What the rain can do to these drivers. You know what, Jim? I think for once we can actually thank the rain gods here, because this has flipped this race on its heads more times than I can count. I mean, this has flipped it on its heads more than the coin flipper at the start of a game. Yeah,
so one thing that popped into my head just now I was thinking about was this is exactly why you endurance race. Yep. Because at an hour, this would have been a different race. But these trying conditions and this tough track, it takes its toll on guys. And the next thing you know, somebody makes a mistake. Multiple drivers make a mistake. You miss your braking point. I mean, how easy is that to happen? And this 2-hour grind, man, it just takes a toll on you. And it's so easy to make one little mistake. And in the rain, that's all it takes. So I'm trying to see. So we got 17 seconds back to Steve. And we got, how much time do we have in the race? 36 minutes. I mean, this is clearly Nodovan's race. If he doesn't make any mistakes, he's got a 7.
That's the clue in though, Jim.
Yeah, of course.
If he doesn't make any mistakes, he's up 10 positions as well, which is an incredible effort. To get up 10 into P1, and now he needs to race perfect for the next 35 minutes.
Yes.
Which, in saying that, the rain is about to end as well. We've just hit 7:00 p.m. in sim time. So the rain is about to pass, which means we're going to be down to probably half an hour of wet track running once this rain ends. So I don't think we're going to have enough time for the track to dry out with only half an hour to go, Jim. I think it's going to be wet tyres to the end. It's going to be these tyres to the end. But in saying that, it's, how well can they survive? the lap times will get faster because the track will begin to dry. But how well can they survive these conditions now? Across the across the next half an hour or so.
Right, 30 minutes, yeah. I don't see, short of a mistake, I don't really see enough time for anybody to make a charge here. So even for second and third, you've got a pretty decent gap between those two. It's at this point, well, we'll see. I don't think it doesn't look like it's stopping raining anytime real soon. It's pouring right now.
Yeah, it's coming down heavy. It's coming down, incredibly hard for these.
Yeah, I mean, it's raining pretty good there, I guess. It looked worse in that camera angle than it does from in-car, though. Because his wiper is pausing, so it can't be that bad.
Oh, it is, the rain, I believe, has just come to an end. They should only need the wipers now for the spray.
Man, I tell you what, listen to his car. He's saving fuel.
Oh yeah, like I think he knows that he needs to try and keep this thing saved and keep himself, in relative check. So I think at this point he's just trying to make sure this thing gets to the end, keep himself in maximum save, and just try and maintain that 17-second gap, because that's all he's got to do. All Steve has to do is just hope and pray that none of them makes a mistake and keep his own race clean. He just has to try and keep himself, in check, and keep his own race in check. Wow. That's tough in itself.
This is crazy to me, the way he's driving this car. I mean, he's short shifting it. He's taking no chances right now. He's not winding it up at all. Look, he's clutching all through here. Look at this. So he's saving fuel, and he's short shifting it to keep it from getting up on the revs with any chance of spinning the tires.
I mean, this is what you got to try and do, though, to keep your race in check,
But interesting. Now let's go to Steve and see what he's doing, how he's handling that. Who's he just passed there? Oh, that was probably whoever Nick Beaver's teammate is. I don't think that was Nick Beaver he just passed.
No, I think it was Nicolator.
Oh, yeah, it probably was. Yeah, Nodovan is really, really saving fuel, though. I wonder if he could be short. I wonder if his... We can't see that information on his wheel, can we?
No, I don't believe we can.
Estimated fuel or anything like that on his wheel? That would be cool.
Yeah, I don't think we can actually check that to save drivers obviously getting
spied on or
like
whatever.
People cheating or whatever.
Yeah, I guess that's probably true, huh? It's funny to look at the different displays in each car. Do you run your wheel display in most cars?
I run it in all cars.
Do you? I don't.
Yeah.
I use an overlay that I put over the wheel.
I run it in all cars.
I don't like to see the wheel myself. Ooh, that was a snap right there that Beaver just saved.
But now, I mean, at this point of the race, they're trying to get that dry line set pretty much. Trying
Lap
to get
times are coming
themselves.
down. I mean, not
They
much
are.
yet, but they are starting to. Everybody's starting to get just a little bit faster. You know, you're seeing 19s and 20s now from all the top 4 guys, and there was only like one guy running in 19s or 20s earlier, you know. So they're all getting just a little bit faster. Let me see. Nottovin's still maintaining his roughly. He's lost a second off of his lead, but not a ton. If Simply Steve's got any chance, he's going to have to start turning fastest laps of the race. Well,
Yeah, he's gonna pretty much just have to put that foot down. He has started to gain a little bit on Nottovan now.
a little, yeah, about 2 seconds from
Yeah.
where they started. Beaver's putting down some lap times too, though.
Yeah, but he's 43 seconds back,
I know,
though,
yeah,
Jim.
no, that's true. Yeah, but even Steve, I mean, if at a second a lap, he doesn't have time to make that up. We don't have 17 laps left, do we?
No, we do. We've got like 20 over 20 laps left.
So a minute, yeah, I guess we do, huh? So in
Yeah,
theory,
we've probably got about 25 lap left or so.
A second a lap. If he can make up a second a lap, he could run down Nottovan, assuming that Nottovan doesn't get any faster. Which we know Nottovan's saving fuel, so there's that. I don't know if he's just doing that to be safe or if he really needs to save fuel.
Yeah, I'm just keeping an eye on Beaver at the moment. He's wrestling this thing through the first sector at this stage. He's trying to keep that car in check and trying to keep himself in
check
in the fight at the moment. Yeah, in check. Yeah, pretty much. So just quickly, whilst we sit with Nick Beaver now for the next lap or so, at this stage of the race, Jim, it is a tough part, and I think we're almost in the second lull period now of this race for the driver in terms of you're trying to cut down that time, cut down the laps, get to the last 10 minutes. Because once you cop that white flag, it's a deep breath, and it's one more lap that you've then got to survive and try and finish where you are. So it's it's a tough task for these drivers. Beaver's having to chase down a 45-second gap up to Steve. Seems pretty insurmountable at this point with 26 minutes left. Steve right now is gaining a bit of time on Nottovan up towards P1, but again, it's how much time can he make and how big of a battle is that going to be? You've got to keep yourself mistake free, and you've got to keep yourself in the battle to the end and buy a ticket to the end of the race, because if you make a mistake now, that's it. Your race is done. You don't have enough time to come back. So we even saw at the top of the hour, Squilliam makes a mistake and that's it. He can't do any more, and he can't push on anymore. So for the likes of Beaver, as we ride on board with him down through turn 8 and turn 9, it is keeping himself and controlling his race the best he can, keeping himself in the fight, maintaining this podium position. Because if he can maintain this position and the top two make a mistake, all of a sudden he's in a race-winning position. So he's going to have to try and push his way forward, keep himself in this race, and realistically speaking, Jim, buy a ticket to the end and control his race at this point is Beaver. I mean, keep yourself fighting forward. If the front two make a mistake, you've kept yourself clean. You're in a race-winning position.
That arguably is probably one of the hardest spots to be in as a race driver, though, to maintain your focus, kind of knowing that you're out of it, waiting on somebody to make a mistake in conditions that if you lose your focus just for a split second, it can kill you, I
mean, we saw it happen to Squilliam, at the top of the hour. Only half an hour ago, we saw Squilliam make a simple mistake as, Beaver wants to get past Cat Daddy here of Jason Winaki, but it's a tough spot to get the move done. He got it done, but he's having to push on.
I tell you what, Steve ain't playing though, man. He's cut this gap to 13 seconds.
He's bringing it down. He is bringing it down. The last lap for him, the laps are getting faster, by the way, Jim. A 118.6.
Yeah, we got.
One of them was a 119.7.
Yep.
As Bozak has now come through pit road as well for his final stop of the race.
Oh, he's actually even behind Nicolator.
So, you know, Steve's doing what he needs to do, trying to chase down Nodovan. Nodovan's trying to save fuel to the end, which he can now do because he's in traffic with the lap traffic ahead of him, but they're also slowing him up as well. So because Steve in that clear air and just able to push on, he is reaping the benefits of this now. He's reaping the benefits of that lap traffic. He's reaping the benefits of his faster lap time, and he's just able to cut into that gap that Nodovan has over him at the front. But with 24 or 23 minutes left, is there enough time for him to catch him and get past him?
Well, I think clearly he can catch him at this point. Yeah. He's 11 now. He's down to 12 seconds, so he's doing more than a second a lap. So he's going to catch him, and if Nodovan doesn't find some pace, which we know he's taking it easy right now, Steve's going to go right by him.
You eating your fruit snacks, Jim? Okay, I see. I'm getting the inside sources from Jim here of his snacking habits, but we're not going to reveal what the snacking habits are.
It's not Greek yogurt, I'll tell you that.
It was my lunch, Jim. Leave me alone. I had to have my lunch. I hadn't eaten yet.
I tell you what, man, I'm kind of getting behind Simply Steve here. I really nothing against Nodovan.
Willing him on.
I just
want
to
willing him on to get that win.
Yeah, I just want to. Well, I mean, he made the simple mistake too earlier that cost him. He'd be cruising in the lead right now.
I know why you're cheering him on, Jim. It's because you love a bomb pop.
Bomb pop, yeah.
Yep.
I love a good popsicle, that's for sure. No, honestly, it's no bull. I want to see a race down at the very end. I like to see something shape up, and here it comes after 2 hours, and we got two guys fighting it out on the last 4 or 5 laps for a victory. You know, I love that.
Just like the actual end to an endurance race, everything comes together and the cream rises to the top, and we get that battle at the end between the top two for the win.
Who's that going around there right in front of Steve?
That was Biker Pilot.
Oh, that was Biker Pilot, huh?
That was Springflower then.
Oh, was it?
No, it wasn't. I was wrong.
No,
was Ryan Schwab.
That looks like
it was Ryan Schwab.
Okay.
Yep.
Wait a minute. What is this here?
Did
I miss this? What happened here? Oh?
He's taking a Joker lap.
Yeah, he just took a little... Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's pretty funny. All right, so the reason I did that was I wanted to go back and see what happened. There's several of them here. You got...
What I think would be interesting is if they ran Michelin Pilot Challenge race here, for example, Jim, that allowed you to have the LMP3 and GT4 pit lane on the right-hand side and have the TCR pit lane on the left, like the old pit lane. You know, where they actually have the Pilot Challenge pit lane during the wall weekend. I think that would be pretty cool. If they could somehow map that to be, I think that would be. And you know, if you raced a VIR, 2 different classes, one class has the back straight pit lane, the other class has the main straight pit lane.
Yeah, I think personnel would probably be the issue with that. You know, safety personnel, fire and safety type personnel and stuff, because it would require twice as many because you got 2 completely separate pit lanes. You know,
this is true.
Which I think sometimes probably those resources are hard enough to come by.
Yeah, I'd say yes.
Well, Donovan turned the wick up a little bit.
Yeah, he's just started to react now. He's done a 19.6 last lap. Steve, I think, although he's just done an 18.8, so
well, let's see if we can see that he's. Oh yeah, he's definitely driving the car a little bit different. He's still saving fuel though.
Yeah, I think he's just doing the natural save of driving it at a 95% or so, or a 90%.
Yeah, but he's still he's not winding the gears up very much at all. Although if you're saving fuel, I don't know if you go to first gear there. So Schwab went into the pits.
That might just be just to get the car turned.
Yeah, maybe using it for engine braking.
Yeah,
but look at he's coasting right here this whole way down.
And is he giving up that much time to Steve by doing so?
I mean, not as much as you would think. If you're watching the way he's driving the car, you'd think he'd be giving up multiple seconds a lap. But he's really not. But, it's not going to be long. And, well, Steve must have had a little wiggle somewhere or something, because he's lost a couple seconds now. He's back to 12 seconds.
Steve's also saving.
Is he? Let's go inside of Steve's car and see if he's saving. Yeah, I believe he is. I mean, they're definitely not pushing it, because they're not going wide right there at all.
I think they're just trying to keep their race clean and get to the end. I mean, you've got 17 minutes left. There's no point trying to push too hard, especially in these conditions. It's not worth it.
No, Donovan just turned the fastest lap that lap.
Yeah, he got himself an 18.9.
And we know he was saving
faster laps than that. Yeah, Steve has set faster laps. Yeah, he's coasting a little bit down to the braking zone at the bottom of the hill.
Not as much as Donovan, but yes, he is.
No. So Donovan's last lap was a 1:19.5. What's this lap going to be from Steve as he approaches the line? A 1:19.0. So he gained relatively about half a second. Yeah. But it's interesting. It's not enough at the moment.
Nah.
And he's got that lap traffic to deal with as well up ahead of him, of Teagish.
So much about lap traffic depends on where you catch them too, man. You can catch them where you practically got to stay behind them a half lap, and then you catch other people in a spot that you can get right instantly.
Yeah, he's given up 2 seconds alone just from that. So,
yeah, he's going to have to find some real pace, and if his fuel is questionable, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. So we've got 15 minutes on the ticket, Jim. We've survived an hour and 45 minutes of this race thus far.
I'm not going to lie to you. This has been as exciting of an endurance race as you and I have covered all year. We have had action up and down through the whole 2 hours. We haven't had near as many of those long lulls that you tend to see.
We haven't. It's been, relatively speaking, pretty action-packed, especially for a field of this size, which I think has been. That's a real tip of the hat to the series to have this circuit be, and I think the weather's played a part in that too, Jim. I think if we had dry running the whole time, very well may have had that long, sort of hour-long lull in the middle.
Sure.
But I think the weather's definitely played a part in that. But there's a lot of little nuances, to racing that can lead to this sort of stuff. It could come down to these guys know this track so well, and they may be overconfident in how they approach it in this weather.
I have no doubt
that how the race goes.
That some of the stuff that we witnessed today was exactly from that.
Yeah.
An overconfidence and push.
or even just a little brain fade of you brake at the same point every single lap, and it's the one lap you brake a little bit differently, or you enter the corner a little bit differently, and it causes mistake.
Well, we know that certain people have done that because we've been on board with them when it happened, like Steve, and you know, where you just miss your brake point just a little bit and you run off course.
Yeah.
You know, it happened to Squilliam earlier, before his incident. I really hate to see that he's out of the race because just the way that was going, that was going to be entertaining, whether or not he, won or didn't or whatever. Just the fact that he recovered, that was unfortunate. That in the end, you're not going to see the race if you just look at the results. Like what he did was
the fact that Beaver has recovered to where he is as well, even after his snap oversteer moment at the final turn as well.
Yes.
That's pretty exceptional. I came into this race. I expect a lot of cars to go a lap down. Especially with the weather, I'm not too surprised that we only have 3 cars left in the lead lap. Because again, that's endurance racing. That's what happens. As I said, we have compacted down a 10-hour endurance race for 2 hours. Like we've compacted everything you could experience,
except for
apart from pit stop mishaps,
or day-night driving.
Yeah, day-night drive. Put it on 12 times, Jim.
I
That's
like that. I love that.
Yeah.
Actually, I love that. Like a 3-hour race, and you do it on 6 times or whatever, 8 times, whatever it is. I love that.
Yeah.
That is so much fun. I wish more people did that. I love it. That was my little rant there, in case you couldn't tell. I really do like that.
Fine. That's fine. I find it interesting too, because it's like you are literally compacting 24 hours of racing into 3 hours.
Yeah. I mean, I think 3 hours is about the minimum. I think if you tried to do it in 2, that's a little too much.
If you did 2.4, well, if you could do 2.4 hours.
You could, yeah.
And then you say it's the Daytona 2.4 hours, and you do the the time. You work out what's the time rate to get it, so then you get the full day, the full period, compacted within that 2 hours and 24 minutes. And then you're just like, yeah, it's a mini Daytona 24-hour. We go from day to night to day in the 2 hours and 24 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I love that style. I love that. Love everything about that.
So for Nodovan and Simply Steve, there is 11 minutes for them to finish on the road. I think a little bit out of the hands now, Steve, to catch Nodovan, being that gap is now 15 seconds.
Yeah.
I think for Nodovan,
he clearly had to
keep his race clean.
He clearly had a run at him, but he, for one reason or another, he has backed off the pace somewhat. I mean, that being said, he did just run an 18.
I think he's realised the tyres are starting to work. Beaver's also done a 17, mind you, on his last lap.
Oh, he did, huh?
So he started to find the pace. But I think he's realised that there's not much point trying to chase him down at this point.
He's saving fuel.
Race. Maybe it's either saving fuel or he's had a bit of a scare on track, and he said, "Whoa, okay, let's just not push too hard. Let's maintain P2. If he makes a mistake, we get the win."
Yeah, but if he wasn't saving, he wouldn't be clutching for these long periods like this. Clutching like that is strictly for saving fuel. Taking it easy is one thing, but if you're fuel saving, you get completely off the, like right here. As soon as he crests this hill hard, he's gonna kick it in and then clutch it. Watch. See? Oh, no, he didn't, actually. No, he didn't. He didn't do what I thought he was going to do. Whoa, he lost it.
Oh, see? And that's one of the reasons why you try not to change how you approach the race.
Wow.
I think, and that's one of those things. He was lucky he didn't hit the wall. He's given up some time. At this point, with 10 minutes to go, Jim, for him now, for Steve in P2, it is just run this thing to the end.
Yes, clearly. Oh, yeah, clearly. At this point, he's got to start thinking about Nick. Because
Nick's only just at the bridge, so he's still a good 20 odd seconds back. But You
Is
know,
he 20?
for Steve,
Oh yeah, he
it's
is
about
20.
about 25 seconds or so. So
Yeah, that's
for Steve, it's keep yourself in line, just maintain P2, don't push too hard. For Nodovan, it's the same deal. For Beaver, it's the same deal. He'll keep pushing though.
right.
If he makes a mistake, he makes a mistake. But
Well, he's in a good spot because he's got 30 seconds or so on Nicolator.
yeah, but I mean, Nicolator's a
Oh,
good. You know, he's a lap
no,
down.
he is a
of
lap
Nick,
down.
so,
Yeah, never mind.
yeah.
So
Well, he's
at
about to
this
be,
point,
so.
Beaver can push hard, and it's not going to really penalize him short of him destroying his car. As long as he doesn't tear the car up, he can push. God, that thing doesn't sound too good. I don't know what that was, but I guess it was probably debris, but it sounded pretty bad. Sounded like sounded like an old Pontiac I had back in the day. Oh, somebody's off. Somebody just went way off track.
There was Nicolator. I think he's just got it going again. Ryan Schwab's just had a moment too. Oh my God, it's on the final corner. Ryan Schwab is parked on the final corner. He's kept going though. I think he was letting the traffic past.
Oh, that's such a tough spot right there, man. That's the hardest part of this course for me. That little section right there after you crest that hill. I always find that really tough. Yeah, he's all right though. He's off the racing line, really. Yeah. Or was off the racing line, I should say.
He's on the alternate circuit.
Yes.
Which, why don't we have that in iRacing?
Good question.
Let us run the alternate. It's mapped.
You know, they bring them on from time to time. You know, they did just. Oh no, that was Le Mans Ultimate.
Where is the Le Mans Bugatti circuit? I want the short circuit of Le Mans.
I want the short circuit of Le Mans for a lot of reasons. I don't dislike.
Mainly because it's the short circuit.
Right. I don't dislike Le Mans. I just think it's, you know, for the 24-hour race, it's great. You know, it's history. It's all of that. It's wonderful. But to go run an hour-long race at Le Mans, I mean, you know, it's just not that. It's all straightaway.
Yeah.
You know, again, for the endurance.
We can make the argument, Jim, an hour-long race on an oval is just a straightaway.
Yeah, till somebody goes and does it. You know, to keep a car right on the edge all the time, because there's no break on a lot of those tracks.
Ridiculously tough.
Yeah,
ridiculously
way
tough
harder than people think. If you've never done it, the opinion they have is it's not what it really is. Go out and try to do it, and especially go try to do it at a competitive pace.
Oh yeah, or on a gamepad.
Right.
Right there doing
that's right. Yep. That kid still blows me away, man, that he can do that.
Yep. Shout out to Tyler Merritt.
Yes, shout out to Tyler Merritt. Probably no chance he's watching this, but
well, I also found out recently, Jim, there is a driver in a supercar series that I call who races the supercar on a gamepad.
Really?
That person is insane. And
he's fast, obviously? Reasonably, at least?
Not third tier.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, yeah, and when it comes to oval racing, Tyler Merritt is certainly not third tier.
Yeah, no, he's split 3 of 4, so. But still, ridiculous how to do that.
I mean, I know that this doesn't really matter considering there's 6 minutes left, but Nick Beaver has taken 10 seconds off Simply Steve's lead in front of him.
I was going to say that would be due to the fact that Steve span.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that. But, again, one more little mistake like that, and, you know.
And he's dropping position. So, 5 minutes to go for Nodovan at the front of the field. With a 28 or 29 second gap back to P2 on the road. It looks pretty much wrapped up for him, but
man, who is
we are no strangers
running down Nodovan here.
That would be Urco right behind
Is
him.
he got fresh tires or something?
I don't know.
No.
He's not saving fuel.
50. He pitted on lap 50, so no.
No, he came in on lap 68.
Oh, 68, did he? Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
That's a long way to look over there.
Fresh tires. Ryan Schwab is attempting dry tires at the moment, Jim. I feel that this may be a mistake, being that there's still Rooster Tail.
Right. So, was this before or after the wet tires?
He came in on lap 74 to put on dries.
Where are we at now?
Well, that was his lap 74.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
He is...
so then, yes, he's been off track numerous times since he put those on then.
Yeah.
Not surprising.
It's lap 78 for him, so he's been out there for 4 laps on dries. I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
So for Nodovan, Simply Steve, and Nick Beaver, the only drivers left on the lead lap, with 3 minutes left to run, probably 3 more laps of this race.
Maybe.
After an hour and 57 minutes, we have pushed on.
Yeah, maybe just 3 more laps. I think you're right.
And for Simply Steve, well, it was a question of what could have been if not for those 2 mistakes. Would he be leading at the moment? Well, we'd never know at this point. So it's been a tough effort for a lot of drivers to go 2 hours in the wet. Beaver is sending that car.
Yes.
So he is pushing that thing to its absolute limit.
I mean, that's kind of Nick Beaver, you know. I mean, oh yeah, he's pushing it all right. Golly.
I think he smells blood.
He does. He's only 6 seconds back. He can catch him.
Yeah, he could.
I mean, it might be the most exciting race on the track. Certainly he's going the hardest. Did you see that last lap he posted?
117.7. It's ridiculous.
That's insane.
Oh my God. Nodovan now has started his, what we would assume is second to last lap.
Yes.
We are in an hour and 58 minutes. That'll be 1 to go when he crosses the line. A lap and a half to survive to the end. It has been an extraordinary race, one with twists and turns. Who would have thought, Jim, that the lull period would come in the last 15 minutes?
I know, right?
After the race that we had. Who would have thought?
Yeah, Nick Beaver must have got a little squirrely somewhere along the way there. Yeah,
he has. He's dropping.
Yeah, he ran off track apparently.
Yeah.
Let's see. He was
coming.
coming.
Turn 1. Good old turn 1. Does he?
Oh.
Oh.
Tell you what, it's time to slow it down and make sure you finish third. Don't tear that car up now. So.
Yep.
I think
1 lap to go, Jim, as well. The leader has just crossed the line to start the last lap if we head back to live. Yep. So as he
we will follow Nodovan around here, celebrate his well-earned victory.
He just pretty much has to not make a mistake, Jim. I mean, it's not that hard, is it, to keep this car fresh and so clean?
I certainly hope not. Yeah, you never know, man. It's still wet out there, but there's somebody off over there flashing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's one of the. That's either Simply Steve or his teammate.
It's not Steve. It was his teammate. Eat My Dust.
Eat My Dust. Yeah. Yeah, it was.
So after 2 hours, 120 minutes, and now 30 seconds.
Right, 89 laps.
89 laps of Road Atlanta as we run up through the final few corners for Nodovan. He was up 10 spots and he was the one to survive the temperate conditions here of Road Atlanta. He takes the win in the first Crown Jewel event of the season by 32 seconds over Simply Steve, currently in P2, who's got another 38 seconds back to Nick Beaver, who I think just started his last lap. He's coming up through turn 5, so plenty of time for Simply Steve to appreciate the race that he's just had, appreciate the effort that he had to put in, even through the most minor of mistakes. To come home P2, up 1 position, is an incredible effort from him in this race. What could have been for Bozak, who crosses the line with him. And now Nick Beaver is further back in the field down at the start of the back straight, although he's just run wide, Jim.
He has run wide again.
I'm about to say, is he running out of fuel?
No, he seems to be okay there.
Yeah, he's still going. That's fine.
So he's way ahead of Nicolator. He could get out and push it.
Oh, he's got a whole lap to his teammate,
right.
So it's he's fine. And in fact, Nicolator's already finished, so
okay,
because
so
Beaver's got a lot longer, even if he towed back, I think he'd still get P3.
Right.
Because no one can technically pass him. So as he comes down through the final sector with Nodovan in behind, who already finished, Nick Beaver will take P3 on the road in arguably the most unconvincing way we've ever seen him do it, I must say, Jim.
Yes.
All respect to him.
I mean, I'm not sure if that car's damaged or what's going on, but something's weird about it.
Whatever it might be. Tegish has just absolutely blown it up.
No, he's damaged.
Across the line.
All right, well, there we go. So that's that should be everybody, I think. Since everybody
else, it is.
So let's see if we can go find some results, maybe, huh?
Let's get those race results up, and this is how they finished. After 2 hours on the road here at Road Atlanta for round 4 of season 10 in the Crown Jewel event at Michelin Raceway, Nodovan takes the win ahead of Simply Steve and Nick Beaver on the podium. Nicolator, Bozak for your top 5, Urko, Gavin Amerman, Springflower, Jason Winaki, aka Cat Daddy, and Biker Pilot for the top 10, Tegish, Ryan Schwab, Eat My Dust, Squilliam, Captain CKG Spot, DC, and Troy Banks. Everyone down from Squilliam to the bottom were non-finishers in this race, and only the top 3 were left on the lead lap. So we definitely got the point across, Jim, of condensing the whole Petit Le Mans into 2 hours. And how that worked out for us. But we've got Simply Steve in the waiting room. Let's have a quick chat to P2, the one Ferrari on the podium. Simply Steve, a fair effort from yourself, sir. A couple of mistakes on the road tonight, but definitely a well-earned podium position for yourself. We mentioned in the broadcast booth that we pretty much took the whole of the Petit Le Mans and condensed it into the span of about 2 hours. We had a bit of everything. There was chaos with the leaders going off. There was changing of positions, the rain, and every little thing that could have possibly happened, we felt happened in that race. Talk us through it from your perspective and how you felt you went in the bomb pop machine.
Yeah, I mean, the speed squad, I mean, it's just holding on. I think, honestly, like, the rain is pretty tough with these cars, and I know that... yeah, just a lot of really quick drivers around me. And so I think it was just trying to hold on, doing my best. And I mean, honest, I mean, it's like, it's hard to even say. It's just like, really, like, you're just on an edge kind of the whole time, especially as the rain starts coming and going and you get more grip, the grip goes away. It's just, you're constantly trying to find it, and it just, sometimes it goes.
Well, now, how did you...
Go ahead.
I was going to say, how did you, you don't get much of a breathing opportunity around here, much of a time to have a real break. It's realistically only down the back straight between turn 7 and turn 10. How were you finding that pressure that was being applied and trying to wrestle this thing around for, 89 laps and keeping it in check, keeping your own mind in check, and even compounding along the fact of the mistakes that you made, whether it was the moment at turn 6 or the moment up at 10A, 10B where you went round. What was it like keeping the mindset in check and making sure that you also kept the car out of trouble as well?
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty lucky this race, honestly, to have like as unfortunate as it was, my teammate finished farther down. He was able to do a little bit of crew chiefing for me on the side, just like, all right, so I'm for where I'm at right now. What do I need to do? Like, what's the like? As much as I was hoping towards the end of the race to get towards Nodovan, it's like, okay, is this gonna come back? And so I don't know. I mean, I think having teammates, having people in the chat, like, hey, I just pitted. I like for new tires, and just getting that info for me is super helpful to kind of decision make on like, do I push? What do I do? Am I just maintaining? So yeah, I don't know. It's tough. I mean, the race goes on, and that's racing. Like you spin, you lose it. If you just go, it's like you score nothing. So you gotta keep going.
Well, I will tell you this: you had an impressive run. You guys made this exciting. 2 hours sometimes in the rain can not be exciting. Excuse me. And this was absolutely the opposite of that. There was the and even right up to the end there, you were gaining on Donovan, pretty hard there, and then I think you had a little moment or something, and you decided that let me just protect this second place and not screw this up. But you were running him down towards the end of the race. I thought really you were going to get there.
Yeah, I mean, towards the end, really, I think me and I'd love to chat with Donovan about how he thought about it, but the tires just like went completely away. Like, there was always a chance, like the drivers, we can all see the potential rain. Obviously, like you don't know what it's going to be, but yeah, just wet tires wouldn't go, and like just the stopping and the cornering just wouldn't behave anymore. And so I was really close to the incident limit towards the end, and I'm like, it's either like a 40-second drive through here, and plus the drive through time, and all the compounding stuff.
Sure.
That would probably lose me more points than it's worth. So yeah, they just backed off. Like, all right, let's protect it. You got it.
Were you saving fuel at all at the end, or was that just simply backing off to make sure that you didn't screw up?
Totally backing off. Like, what is the least amount I can do? Like, especially into that the chicane and the back straight, braking super early. Like you said, I had a little spin there, and it's just a gear under that I normally would be. So
right.
Yeah, no fuel saving. I just kind of flat out push because the amount of stops you needed for tires, you got lots of opportunities to stop for fuel. So,
well, congratulations, second place in this 2-hour race. You earned that. You worked hard for that. So congratulations. I'm sure you got some people you'd like to shout out to.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to my girlfriend Natalie. Shout out to my teammate Lucas for being an awesome teammate. Shout out to Erico and in the chat. And all the guys hanging out in the chat, and yeah, all of the league, just to have good racing and we had a good showing of folks today, even though it was pretty tough. I'm glad to see everyone come out for a pretty tough race. So
yeah, they did actually. You're right. This is a tough conditions, raining, Road America, and you still had a nice turnout. So yeah, it's very good point. All right, man. Congratulations again, and I'm sure we'll see you next week, and then obviously 2 weeks later for the endurance race. But I know you run the other cars too, so I'm sure we'll be seeing you and talking to you soon.
Hope so. Hope to be back.
All right,
Thank
man.
you.
Next up, we have P1 on the road here this evening in Nodovan. Mr. Nodovan, what an up and down race it was for a lot of drivers in the field. And for you, you ran it clean, you ran it consistent, you got up 10 spots, and you got into the lead. The first thing I need to ask you, though, is how are your ears after the moment with Bozak down at turn 6 where he straight lined it and gave up way too much time and broke that car?
Yeah, I was like, what happened to you? And he's just like, oh, the car just went straight. And I'm like, oh no. But I think he easily probably had the fastest car today. I think us in general, we had a really quick car when it got really wet. When it kind of started to dry up a little bit, our pace seemed to fade a little bit, is what I noticed. But overall, I think in the dry paired with the wet, I think we probably had a really quick car.
And so, how did you find these conditions and trying to deal with the the struggles of keeping this car in check and keeping it on the road. I mean, you, relatively speaking, you won this race by being mistake-free. Everyone else seemed to have had at least one proper off-track where they've ended up either straight lining or spinning. You know, it's you know, consistency wins endurance races, and I think you've proven that now by the fact of we managed to condense a Petit Le Mans into 2 hours by having a bit of everything, with leaders going off, challenges going off, the rain, the constant pressure that could be applied from that rain. And once we got to the halfway mark, the top 4 were separated by 5 seconds. So, you know, how difficult was it for you to keep this race so consistent and keep yourself in check and make sure you kept it mistake-free as well?
Yeah, in the middle of the race, I think we all were separated by like 2 seconds at one point, so that was pretty fun. But for me at least, I'm sure you guys probably noticed I wasn't necessarily the fastest on track, and I think that's probably just because I was keeping it within the limit. Like it's really hard to see someone catching you or gaining some time and still be like, okay, I need to not go off track here. And the experience with most sport was very similar to this one, only this one I had a little bit more pace this time, so I was able to keep the lead. But overall, it's just kind of making sure you don't go over that limit. And I think you kind of really notice that when the track starts to dry up a little bit, and then you kind of have some guys exploring a little bit where to gain time. It's like I didn't really do that too much because it's like, is it really worth it? Half the time, no, it's not.
So were you?
Motorsport,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, Jim. I was going to say Motorsport. We didn't race at Motorsport. We never broadcasted
I know
Motorsport.
nothing about that race.
Never happened. Never ever happened. We don't want to piss off the iRacing gods by causing this one to drop out again. But I mean, I suppose we didn't even know what happened at Motorsport, did we, Jim?
No, we didn't. Honestly.
Well,
after the failed rebroadcast, we didn't.
It was basically a complete copy of this race, only at the end of that race, Beaver caught me. So.
Oh, well, there you go. So, were you saving fuel at the end when Steve was catching you? Were you trying to save fuel? Because we kept going on board with you, and it seemed like you were clutching down the back straightaway. You know, a long time. You know.
I think that was just me trying to keep it under the limit. I find it's generally a little bit easier to not outbrake yourself when you're lifting half a straight before the braking zone. I was quite good on fuel. I think I had like an extra 5 laps or something. So the fuel was a non-issue, but just kind of like I think I was lifting a little bit from before the pit stops just to kind of try to make an extra lap. And I think that just kind of kept, and I was like, okay, this is what I'm used to. Let's not try to introduce something new and then lock up the brakes going into that chicane, even though I think that's faster, but I didn't need the off tracks.
Right. Yeah, I had speculated that maybe you were saving fuel just because of how early you were lifting coming down that back straight. Like you would kick it into 7th gear and then you'd essentially just lift and coast down the whole rest of that straightaway, that whole downhill section there. So I had speculated that maybe you were saving fuel, but like you said, just taking it easy and making sure you don't go over the limit, which obviously today was a great strategy for you. This was a very convincing win by you. Impressive, it really was.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Did we lose him?
Oh, he's back.
Oh, there we go.
He's back.
Then I was complimenting you there, and you just bailed on me. I see how it is.
Nah, I was just thinking how fun that was.
I mean, it was look, to me, we've seen you do a lot of different things this year. You know, we've seen you be fast in some spots and you're always real humble. No, I don't know anything about driving these cars. You know, this is all new to me. But this certainly showed a new dimension to your game. You know what I mean? Like that you were able to maintain self-control and, and bring home a victory here when easily you could have made a mistake and screwed that up. So, again, impressive. It's good to see you're, showing different aspects of your game too.
Yeah, I think a really big part is just a different type of mindset. I'm Night Racing is an endurance team, and we run lots of races longer than an hour. So it's one of those things where it's like you're in it for the long haul. You're not in it for a fast lap or fast 5 laps. No, you need a fast 20 laps. You need to be consistent for the full 2 hours, or else you're looking at the back of another car after you spin out, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, endurance racing, obviously long, these longer 24-hour races and stuff like that certainly prepare you for a good stint like this. 2 hours in one of these cars in the rain, and especially around this track where there's not a lot of places to take a break. These cars are on the edge a lot around here just because of the track elevation changes and stuff like that. Just a tough place to drive on the edge in the rain like that for sure. So, again, congratulations. I'm sure you got somebody you want to shout out to.
Yeah, I'd like to thank everyone in the league, all the admins. They let me sponsor this one, so that's always fun. And
They
also like to
let you
thank you
sponsor
guys
it,
for
huh?
putting on a good show. Well, I guess I had to pay money, but
They allowed me to sponsor it. Well, it's so nice of them. Well, we thank you for that. 'Cause that helps us. That helps us come here and share and spread this good racing around. So thank you for that.
yeah, the last time I couldn't sponsor this track, so that was sad.
Oh, you like this track? This is like one of your favorite tracks, or what?
Oh man, Road Atlanta is just it's the perfect track in my opinion. It's not so fun in these types of cars, but in GTE, not a better combination in my opinion. But last season I had to sponsor Silverstone. Yeah, but whatever. This is a much better track.
I agree. I do not
Much
like
better.
Silverstone.
Yes. I want to know where you're doing GTE racing around here because I want to get part of that. Where's we need a GTE league.
Unfortunately, it's a dead car.
Season.
No, it's not a dead car. It could still be very active if we just put a league together.
GTE is the Latin of iRacing cars, Jim.
Oh my gosh, stop. GTE is one of the best cars on the server. They are phenomenal.
I just want to point out quickly, Jim, I've now put myself on the sword because my partner wants to study Latin. And she does not like when I call it a dead language.
That's what you deserve. And tried to insult the GTE, and look what happened. It come back and bit you.
Oh,
yeah.
All right.
Well,
thank you so much for coming over and chat to us, though.
Yeah,
it's been incredible. A fantastic race. We look forward to seeing how you do next week in the Sprint Series and the F3 car. And then in 2 weeks' time, we'll be back in the GTP once again. So appreciate your time and your effort. It was a phenomenal race. And let us know anyone you want to give a shout out to.
Yeah, it's been an awesome time. I guess I'll also shout out my teammate. He kind of fumbled the ball a little bit, but he was super fast, and I look forward to seeing what he can do when the conditions aren't so tricky.
Yeah, he did. He was off to a good pace for sure. So, all right,
he had
buddy.
an awesome first stint.
We'll see you next week at the sprint race.
Yeah, see ya.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. What's funny is I had already asked him about his shout outs and you went back and revisited them.
Also going to be able to get the shout outs to the teammates as well. It's also just natural that when I'm about to ask, say that we're going to let someone leave, that's when I ask them about this.
Well, I did cut him off because he said they let me sponsor this race, and I was thinking, well, that was nice of them to let you sponsor the race. Well, that was fun, man. I look, that could have been a lot more boring than it was for sure. This was a good race.
Yeah, there was some fantastic racing in there. As I said, surprisingly, we got the lull period in the last 15 minutes. We had an hour and 45 minutes of some intense action, some tips and turns, and everything that we could have ever asked for from a race at Road Atlanta. So we appreciate everyone's time sticking with us for the first Crown Jewel event of the season. It's been absolutely incredible. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe the bell icon as well to JP Broadcasting. We've got so much more racing coming your way from all across the globe here on the channel for the rest of April and in through the rest of 2025 as well. So you guys want to be a part of the journey with us to experience some phenomenal, maybe even some little hidden gem sim racing leagues out there too. But I've been Hamish with Jim Cunningham alongside for round 4 of the J2iCS Just Two Idiots Cup Series Endurance Series here for the GTPs. Appreciate your time. Appreciate you being here with us once again. And until next time, stay safe, drive hard, and as always, bye for now.